Hey there, it's BitB, and welcome out to another BitB stream. Thanks for coming out. It is Saturday, and good God, we have finally made it to the epilogue of Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney. And apparently, according to what happened the last time, we are running directly into the Storyteller. We're about to figure out what the hell happened with his death and why the heck he's apparently still alive, according to him just showing up out of nowhere. I mean, the entire thing is one gigantic act from what we have learned. But, yeah, now we get his side of the story. Hello, Spicy. How's it going? So, let's go ahead and just dive directly into that. There we go. Fade out that audio, and where is the audio for... There we go. You think I would have this stuff memorized. Alright, so we're starting out with the judge.
I don't quite know what to say. I am truly shocked. There's a dead man in my court. To see the Storyteller again, alive and well. This was unexpected by me too, as I did not plan to appear before you all again. I was convinced that you would all see the last of me at the parade. But this is the trial of your murder. And you are alive.
So therefore, everything is null and void. Good night, everyone. Frozen soft lemonade. Don't know if I've ever had that. Yeah, see? No one was killed. So let's call this whole thing off and never have witch trials again. Whoa, Maya, take it easy. We're still in court, remember? But what's the point of this? The Storyteller wasn't killed. Espella would never do anything to harm her dad.
Objection.
Would she? Wait a minute. Why are you shaking your head?
If only it was as simple as that to end this trial. However, it is not, Miss Faye.
But, Professor!
Search your memory, search your feelings. You know it to be true. Search your memory and you will know the reason why. The crime Miss Cantabella is accused of is not just murder. The purpose of the witches' court is to sentence the witches for what they are. Isn't that right, Mr. Storyteller?
Yeah, and you're about to kill your daughter. Maybe say something.
I fully intend to expose the true identity of Bazella. And this would not be possible without you, Mr. Storyteller, on the witness stand.
I see. And so, you assume the role of an Inquisitor just to lure me here?
Be that as it may, the Inquisition still maintains that Espella Cantabella is the Great Witch Bazella.
And she's just sitting up there with her mouth closed. Dad!
It's been a long time, Espella. 4 years, in fact. You must have experienced many hardships living amongst the townsfolk. This daughter of mine never fits in with the others, no matter how hard she tries.
No, it wasn't quite like that. There were people who supported me. Aunt Patty was very kind, and the customers who came to our bakery were nice to me.
I'm happy to hear that.
Cantabella sounds like cantaloupe. Somewhat.
I wanted to watch over you ever since you left for the town, but in the end I failed to do so. I had no idea what was happening to you. I am very sorry, Espella.
Oh, Dad, you don't need to apologize to me for anything. It's me that owes you an apology. I was trying to hurt you.
What? How? God damn it. Espella's a cantaloupe. Let's not jump to harsh accusations. I mean, I think that is a much harsher accusation than being called a witch. Hello, Temp. I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
It was all my fault, not yours. There's no reason for you to blame yourself.
Can we get her off the hook, for fuck's sake? I don't even know what the hell.
Dad, I'm happy we got to talk.
Espella?
You were so busy writing everyone's stories that we stopped talking to each other. Before, it was different. You used to have time for me.
Please forgive me. Why did it have to come to this?
Mr. Storyteller, it's time to put everything in order now. The townsfolk and your daughter deserve to know the truth. The truth about yourself and the story.
Yes, I suppose it is time I told you the truth. Your Honor,
Yes, Mr. Storyteller?
let us begin. In this trial, I shall be judged.
Oh, goody gumshoe. He's still a storyteller, even in this circumstance. Rap battle! Oh god, that would be really unfortunate and really kind of cringy with Phoenix Wright stuff. You're feeling disappointed you wasted 5 hours yesterday. Wait, you've wasted 5 hours on Fallout 76? What happened that you say they were wasted?
Understood. The witness shall testify. People of Labyrinthia who have gathered in this court, I will now tell you the true story. Many of you will certainly find it hard to believe and difficult to accept. Nevertheless, I ask you to please lend me an ear and listen with open minds. Espella, my dear daughter, I ask you to do the same too.
Flamboyant bastard! Deadbeat dad! So what is the true story? I mean, we know that it's all an illusion, but why? For what reason?
Although you know me as the storyteller, I have one more identity. I am the president of Labyrinthia Incorporated.
What?
This whole town is one of Labyrinth's research facilities. It may be hard for you to comprehend. This land is rich in a very special substance, which affects everyone who lives here. This substance enables the manipulation of people's minds, and that is what Labyrinth is researching. This experiment began 10 years ago. The townsfolk all became test subjects.
So this is a Jonestown sort of circumstance? Holy shit.
Oh dear God. I don't understand. What does it all mean? I don't quite understand what I've just heard. I do not blame you. I suppose all the townsfolk are just as confused.
There was a dupe glitch that was patched on the 16th, the 6th, but it wasn't in the patch notes. So you attempted it and it failed, but you were able to take out your anger on your poor neighbors. Your poor neighbors? Wait, were they over at your house, or are you talking like you heard, like, they heard your screams? Now, rap battle! Not quite.
Labyrinthia is an artificial town created entirely by me. But, of course, as artificial as it may be, it is the reality for those that live here. For the past 10 years, I have been bringing the illusion to life by writing the story. I am lost for words. It feels as if the whole world has been turned on its head.
I didn't expect sci-fi today. Your Honor, it is certainly not an easy matter to grasp this new situation at once. Regardless, I suggest we hear more of what the witness has to say.
Yes, I agree. Let's continue. The defense may begin the interrogation.
Thank you, Your Honor. What the heck am I supposed to even say in all that? Like, what the heck contradictions am I even trying to find in this? I doubt there's any. I probably just have to listen to his story in more detail or some shit. Alright, let's see what goes down. So I have one more identity. I'm the president of Labyrinth Incorporated.
Hold it!
They were next to your house, and the glitch included these cannon things. You then used the cannons to bomb the hell out of their houses. Afterwards, you were wanted for 740 caps. Oh, God. I see. The neighbors within the game. I thought you were talking about, like, your next door neighbors. Like, for some reason, you had your speakers cranked up to 11, or you were shouting at your monitor. This is too much! I don't even know where to start!
Labyrinth Incorporated. That's a name I've heard before. It is a global pharmaceutical company with headquarters in England. If my memory serves me right, it was founded by Arthur Cantabella.
Holy shit! So are you Arthur?
Indeed, that is my true name.
Were you familiar with that, Mr. Wright?
Sure, yeah, I heard of Labyrinth Incorporated, of course. You lying liar, lying directly out of your lying face.
Labrellum Incorporated is known for developing a completely harmless anesthetic about 20 years ago. It is now widely used in hospitals all around the world. The company is also working on various other plant-derived sedatives, revolutionizing medicine.
I suppose I shouldn't be surprised by your vast knowledge, Mr. Layton.
Objection!
I have knowledge too, damn it! That's irrelevant. The fact is just based on the real world we're from, not Labyrinthia.
The real world, Mr. Wright? Then what would you call the world we are in now? Do you think this is a fantasy?
No, that's not quite what I mean.
Mr. Wright, I do not mean to be so rude as to presume I know what thoughts are running through your head. However, Labyrinthia is certainly not a place within a book or in the past. Labyrinthia is a part of the world we know.
Huh? What? But how could a town like this exist in the real world?
Do you think it's impossible? Why would that be? Are you saying that everyone would know about an unusual town like this if it existed?
It's something like that. Anyway, it would be on a map at least. Or satellites. Holy shit, we live in the real world where there's satellite imagery. You live in the middle of nowhere. No one can hear your screams. Oh, well, that's comforting.
No, I'm afraid that cannot be so.
Huh?
This town is not marked on any map. It doesn't officially exist.
What do you mean?
The answer's quite simple. This whole town is one of Labrellum's research facilities. It may be hard for you two to comprehend.
Hold it!
This whole town is a research facility?
Yes, this whole area is a private property of Labrellum Incorporated.
So, they own all this land then?
That is why Labyrinthia is not marked on any map. And people from the outside cannot enter. We've taken measures to ensure that this town is not noticed by local residents.
What measures are you talking about?
Consider the fact that magic is supposed to exist in this town. Perhaps special mechanisms were used to create magic.
Special mechanisms that were used to create magic also serve to conceal Labyrinthia.
There are limits to what magic the Shades are capable of producing on their own, after all.
That is the case indeed. The magic in this town has been made feasible owing to the latest technology. Technology? Tricks? I cannot believe this!
However, there is one question. There is no industry at Labyrinthia. How do you obtain necessary commodities?
Very observant, aren't you? All commodities are regularly shipped in by sea. A young man once made his way here on a freighter and took a speller out of the town.
That was Carmine Accidente, a friend of mine.
Ah, yes. Funny thing is that your in-game neighbors tried to retaliate, but you live on a pre-made boat that cannot be destroyed, so they basically did nothing. They ended up leaving the game. Shit. Rage quit. I see. But is something on this scale really possible?
As you might suspect, it would be beyond the power of Labrellum Incorporated to keep a facility of this size a secret for so long. Labyrinthia is a project co-funded by the British government.
What? It's a government project? But what would be their stake in this?
It's all because of my beliefs.
His beliefs? Again, this really does feel like a Jonestown situation. It's like, I believe in my own religion. Everybody, drink the Kool-Aid.
By the way. Yes, Your Honor. What is a research facility? I've never heard of anything like that before. Yes, that was careless of me. Naturally, you wouldn't know what it means. How should I explain? This whole town is my creation. Oh, that's what it was about? In other words, it's all your story. That makes it all clear.
No, it doesn't. You feel like you're not going to have any new neighbors anytime soon. Yes, many craters. Difficult to build there. Also, very noisy. Swing and a miss, Your Honor.
Getting back to the topic. There's an important reason why we have chosen to build such a facility here. This land is rich in a very special substance which affects everyone who lives here.
Hold it!
A special substance? What does it actually do?
This area has been isolated since ancient times, developing its own unique culture.
There are underground ruins on the verge of this town. We found writings there, presumably left by the natives of this land. A bell that was supposed to be there was missing.
Again, I still feel like that bell is probably cursed.
So you have seen the ruins. I suspected that you would find them. Then perhaps you have also noticed that everyone who lives here has a very peculiar condition. A peculiar condition, you say? I can't just sit here quietly like a patient old man when you're saying such things. Just what kind of condition is it?
You have every right to know. This condition makes people fall unconscious upon the sound of a certain metal being struck.
Metal? What kind of metal?
Pure silver. And so there is not a single object made of silver in Labyrinthia.
Now that I think of it, that's true. Just imagine what a disaster a fancy dinner would be if everyone fainted when they used silver cutlery.
This condition is an integral part of magic.
How so?
All inhabitants of Eldritch Woods carry small silver bells.
I see now. The shades ring the bells when they need to create the illusion of magic. Everyone present falls unconscious, and the shades set to their work.
Oh, look at where the shade's hand was! So that's the secret of the time-stealing magic Darklaw told us about. Now that they mention it... Kira had a small bell with her when we saw her back at the marketplace.
We've been researching this condition at Labyrinth Incorporated, and finally, we discovered its cause. It was the groundwater. Water caused it? The groundwater contains a certain unique substance found in the soil, in this area.
So if you drank that water, you get this silver allergy thing.
But of course, we've been drinking it. It's impossible to live without water. Of course. That's why everyone who lives here had the condition. Oh dear. You needn't worry, the condition is harmless, especially as silver is unknown to the townsfolk.
Something's still not quite right, though. If the sound of silver bells makes people pass out, why don't the shades pass out too? They probably drink the Kool-Aid. I don't know.
Although the effect of the substance in the groundwater is powerful, it doesn't last long. The condition will vanish after a day or so without drinking that water.
That's convenient.
That substance effects aren't limited to humans. It can also affect plants to a great extent.
Oh, shit. Wow, so you're telling me that if you watered a plant with this stuff and you, rang a bell, the thing would probably die?
Plants are affected by it?
Our research was focused on the plants rather than the humans. The substance enables the manipulation of people's minds, and that is what Labyrinth is researching.
Hold it!
That sounds really scary. Just what is this about?
The substance enters the groundwater, affecting organisms that consume it.
People who drink it daily acquire that odd condition. They fall unconscious upon hearing the sound of silver metal. Silver bells, it's Christmas time in Labyrinthia.
Yes, although the substance of the groundwater also has a tremendous effect on plants. wildflowers in this area contain a certain poison. Upon my beard, poison! This poison doesn't harm the body. It has the effect of manipulating the mind.
Ah, so that's why all the flowers are being kept in, and turned into little vats of liquid. So it brainwashes people.
I've been writing the story for 10 years.
The title of the story is Historia Labyrinthia.
The ink I used to write it was made from those plants.
Whoa, Nick, do you remember how funny the ink smelled?
That was the gas released when the ink evaporates. And that's where the trick is.
What?
Those that inhale the gas become extremely susceptible to suggestion.
You mean brainwashing?
They will believe anything they are told, or anything they read, however strange or unrealistic. It will be imprinted in their minds as the truth.
So that was the true purpose of the parades?
Ha ha ha, I see. And that's why it was... Oh, God! Yeah, you would need a whole lot of ink in order to write that stuff on the pieces of paper.
Pages of the story, written in that special ink, were regularly distributed amongst the townsfolk. It was done so that everyone would be in a state of hypnosis.
Indeed. The creation of a fully controlled town with the inhabitants subject to long-term hypnosis. That was one of the topics of our research.
The story that is written in the Historia Labyrinthia.
You could call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, realized through the Shade's work and the hypnotic effects of the ink vapors.
This is a whole lot of words that I tend to not use.
Is that how it was all this time?
Labrellum used hypnosis to control all those people. I can't believe that the government was supporting that. Better than most, government conspiracies.
This experiment began 10 years ago. The townsfolk all became test subjects.
Hold it!
All the people subjected to this experiment have been living here all this time?
No, we started with just a few people, gradually getting more and more.
I must say that I am afraid of what the answer to this question might be. But where did these people come from? You haven't resorted to abduction by any chance, have you?
Of course not. Every test subject signed a contract with Labrellum.
A contract to have their memories erased and be used like pawns in a story?
The current inhabitants of this town have one thing in common. They were all dissatisfied with their lives and wanted to start anew, forgetting about their mistakes, forsaking unwanted identities. There are more people like that out there than you might think. They all have agreed to participate in our research.
But that's insane.
It's not unreasonable as you suggest. We give them a new identity, a chance to start their life again. In return, they subject themselves to hypnosis, live in this town as our test subjects. In order for this project to be possible, we suppressed their memories of the past, including the memory of signing the contract.
Jesus Christ.
So ultimately, they are not aware of what is going on. I couldn't agree more. I've got no idea what's going on.
I suppose you're the judge, so you would be very, very blank, just by stock anyways.
Let me make this clear, Mr. Wright. We do not erase their memories, we suppress them. They will regain their memories of life before Labyrinthia once their contract is over.
So, this place was uninhabited before you started this research 10 years ago? Either that, or the Indians used to live here and you pushed them off their land. And you managed to keep everyone in a state of hypnosis for 10 years straight? Can you really hypnotize someone for that long? I mean, 10 years is one heck of a long time.
It was achieved through the distribution of the story during parades. The ink vapors have a powerful effect, but it wouldn't last 10 years, of course. With each parade, the effect was renewed. A That's why the parades took place at regular intervals. That was the true purpose of that event.
I imagine you would need to be wearing a mask when you went through that entire parade, just so that you don't end up getting sucked into the story too.
I have been born and raised here. It was a poor, small town with no industry to speak of that had fallen behind the times. Ever since I was a child, I had one friend that was especially close to me. He was a bright boy, curious about the world. His name was Newton Belduke. Sir Newton Belduke? The alchemist!
So they were childhood friends. The plot thickens!
He had always been interested in the unique natural features of this land. There was really nothing here, but to us, this area was an exciting place worth exploring. And one day, we made an astonishing discovery. On the outskirts of the town, we stumbled upon the entrance of the underground caverns leading to the colossal ruins.
That had to have been a hell of a find. Can you imagine, like, just walking through the street one day and then you find, like, this random alcove that nobody walks in, and then suddenly your life is a Legend of Zelda game? Whoa, look at that, Newton. This is so amazing. And the strange writing. I've never seen anything like it before.
We found ancient writings in the ruins. Newton managed to decode some of them. According to our findings, a highly advanced culture had existed on the land where our little town was built. Some great calamity had befallen the natives, and they migrated elsewhere. They believed that plants and water in that area were cursed by an entity they called the Great Witch Mozella. The natives sealed the curse within the ruins and left in search of a new home. That is all that we managed to decipher.
Mozella's curse.
It was sealed in the ruins, you say? Would that be the Bell of Ruin?
The Bell of Ruin?
Oh, that's the bell from the bell tower. I wonder why it's got an ominous name like that.
Regrettably, we couldn't get any further information from the writings at that time. Needless to say, Newton and I were very excited by the discovery.
I knew it! This place is special. It has some kind of mysterious power. If we could find out what that is, our humble town would become famous. You know what? I'm gonna do that. I will unravel the mystery of this place. And what a cursed mystery it became.
And so Newton began studying the indigenous plants and substances dissolved in the groundwater. On the other hand, I studied economics and management at the university in London. I dreamed of bringing prosperity to this poor, forgotten town. I wanted to change it for the better with my own hands. Meanwhile, Newton had succeeded at extracting a new anesthetic from the local plants.
Was that the anesthetic which led to the foundation of Laborellum?
Yes, it was. It was a huge success for Laborellum Incorporated, and before we knew it, we were making a fortune. We wanted the whole world to hear about our hometown. Alas, fate was not kind to us, as we never realized that dream. Everyone in our town had died. All the townspeople perished. Just what on earth happened to them?
The fire?
That does not matter anymore. We purchased the envisions of our town, the mountains, the lakes, the plains, everything. Then, 10 years ago, having received financial support from the government, we started Project Labyrinthia. It was much smaller in the beginning. It started as no more than a village. Over the course of 10 years, it slowly grew into a town. The population increased as well.
More people were signing the contract with Labrallum, slowly increasing the number of inhabitants, correct?
Yes. They would sign the contract, be hypnotized, and assigned a role, and then be introduced to the world of the story.
I wonder why and how Phoenix managed to get indoctrinated so quickly. Also, he didn't sign any goddamn contracts, so why did you decide to wipe his memory? Unless he forgot. Phoenix tends to forget.
I have spoken at length. Thank you for patiently listening to my tale. Bezella is the name of a witch from an ancient legend that we read about in the ruins. It is a fictional character. She does not exist. But then, magic and witches? You foolish old man. Magic is just an illusion, and there are no witches.
Alright, so it was all fake. That doesn't make it much better. Why did you read a story where people get killed with magic and witches are thrown into the fire? Could have been peaceful, pleasant, a pleasant world where everyone would be happy.
No, that was not possible.
But why?
This is a research facility after all. We're researching ways to completely control human beings. Test subjects need to be exposed to extreme situations, so we decided on a fantasy setting. We wouldn't have got funding from the government otherwise. In other words, we're running a business.
Kind of makes you wonder whether or not anything like that actually does exist somewhere in the world today. Would be creepy, wouldn't it? Well, maybe we all live in that world. But just what instructions do you give to the people you hypnotize? You don't give each of them a full set of memories of their whole fictional life, do you?
No, it's much more simple than that. We only give them 2 pieces of information. The first one, that they were born in this town, and the second was their new occupation. Then they fill in the gaps themselves, without being aware of it. The human mind requires a consistent story of one's life. Which means, of course, that no labyrinthian has memories from earlier than 10 years ago. No one has any memories from before they came to Labyrinthia. What are you saying?
That's all one big lie. I am who I am.
But can you remember your childhood? I can't. Well, I don't think anybody can, but... Hey, that's true. I can't remember even my parents.
No way. I can't recall my own mother's face.
Uh-oh, it's unraveling. Get ready for a stampede.
As you can hear, no one can remember their real past. There are no exceptions.
Except... Huh? Wait a second. No exceptions? I smell a contradiction here.
Ah, seems Mr. Right, too, has noticed it now. What are you talking about, Layton?
Mr. Cantabella, you have just testified that not a single citizen of this town remembers anything from more than 10 years ago.
Yes, as that is the truth.
Now, that's a strange assertion, especially coming from you.
What? What do you mean?
There's one person in this town who remembers what happened more than 10 years ago.
That cannot be. It is impossible. They must be merely imagining things now.
Mr. Wright, please enlighten us all. Who is this person that remembers their past? Holy shit!
Take that!
Precisely, Mr. Wright. That person is none other than Espella Cantabella.
What? That's impossible.
It's true, Dad. I remember it clearly as if it happened yesterday. The legendary fire.
No, that's impossible. That's just your imagination, Espella.
No, it's not! I couldn't remember it before, but it all came back to me because I'm Bezella.
No, Espella. There are no witches. That fire, it was just a bad dream.
The Inquisition would like to call Espella Cantabella to testify.
What?
Regardless of whether Miss Cantabella is Bezella or not. Her memories may contain valuable clues.
Yes, that may be so. No, wait! I don't agree to this. This trial's over, Your Honor.
Ain't your story anymore, you bastard. Sit the hell down.
You seem to be forgetting something, Mr. Cantabella. Your story has ended. You are no longer in control. You are merely one of the characters. And this is also why we will not cease seeking the truth until we find it.
Defense, what is your opinion on this?
Isabella keeps insisting that she's the witch Bazella. As her attorney, I should refuse to let her speak to the court. But what's really important now is finding the truth. Just as Layton said, the truth will set you free. There's only one way to proceed with this trial. And that's by questioning Miss Cantabella about her memories.
In that case, the court summons Isabella Cantabella as a witness. Attendants, bring the accused to the witness stand.
Ah, father and daughter. Let's try and pick their brains and see who's right and who's wrong. And they're side by side, so if one is lying, we'll know.
Now, witness, testify about your memories of the legendary fire.
Yes, my lord. Do you remember much aside from fire, burning, horror, oh god, screaming? I was just a little girl then. It happened during the annual fire festival.
Fire festival?
Everyone was gathered in the town square for the fire festival, and I was watching them from the bell tower. The great witch Bazella awoke within me and brought calamity upon the town. An enormous fire dragon appeared. I was trembling with fear, terrified by what I had summoned. How do we know that you summoned it, is what I want to know.
Witness, what you have told us wasn't a bad dream of a fairy tale, but what you actually experienced?
Yes, it was. Like I have already said. I remember it very clearly. The heat from the fire, the smell of smoke.
Isabella, what are you talking about?
Good question. Why does father not know?
The defense may cross-examine the witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Maybe she's crazy. Maybe she's like the actual insane one. Was there really a huge fire that destroyed the town? And what about Bazella? Is she even real? The answers are in Isabella's testimony.
Dum dum bum.
Okay. Well, let's save. Seeing as we only have 2 shields of credibility. So, 1 chance to fuck up. Just a little girl then.
Hold it!
Alright. Do you remember what age you were then? I'm not quite sure, but I think I was 6 or 7.
And how old are you now?
I'm 18 years old. Okay, well, that is real freaking close to being just only 10 years. So, maybe if it turns out you're 8 or 9, we might be able to pull this one out.
That means those events did take place more than 10 years ago. It's very odd that you have memories so old, but perhaps you're mistaken about your age at that time.
Objection. Your Honor, no one besides Isabella has witnessed the legendary fire, which would mean that the incident occurred before Labyrinthia was created, over 10 years ago.
Yes, I suppose that makes sense.
Is this one gigantic coma thing?
That doesn't make any sense at all. How many times do I need to tell you there are no witches, no magic, the legendary fire is just a story? This interrogation serves no purpose. Mr. Cantabella, the court asks you to be quiet during another witness's testimony unless you are asked to speak.
Hooray, kick the storyteller in the caboose. Everyone was gathered in the town square for the fire. What is the fire festival? And also, is it like that one fire festival that turned out to be a complete sham and a crock?
Hold it!
What the heck? I mean, I have to assume that this fire festival is what actually caused the fire. Could you tell us a little more about this fire festival you were watching?
Yes, it seems to be an ancient custom in this area. The townspeople make a fire offering to the Great Witch Bazella so that she will not bring misfortune upon them. A great fire is lit in the middle of the town square. The festival lasts all night long.
That's correct. The festival takes place once every year. It is quite magnificent with all the townsfolk assembled in the square. Unless it is a counterfeit memory imprinted in our minds by you. No, this festival has been held here since before I was born. It appears to be a very old custom indeed.
By the way, why were you in the bell tower in the first place?
Huh?
You know, you said everyone was at the town square. Why weren't you there?
I can't remember. I probably went there because Bazella awoke within me.
A likely story.
Despite having vivid memories of the fire, you do not remember much of anything else that occurred at the time?
Yes, I was at the top of the bell tower looking down at people in the town square.
Ah, Kitty.
Someone was with me there. Oh, that's right, it was Eve.
Eve? Her black cat, huh? I didn't think Eve was that old.
Well, then... The Great Witch Bazella awoke within me and brought calamity upon the town.
Hold it!
Do you remember casting a spell?
I cannot remember.
Sir, what was that about?
Hang on!
You look upset, Mr. Cantabella. It's just his emo face. It's okay.
Well, pardon me, did you want something?
I'd like to know what you think about a spell's last statement.
My opinion about all of this has not changed since last time. It's all just a dream. Listen to me, Espella. You are not Bazella. There was no legendary fire.
Dad, you have no idea how much I want to believe you, but I just can't. Yes, bickering back and forth between father and daughter is great. You're not my real dad. I remember what I saw and how it felt. The heat, the smoke.
Magic doesn't exist. It belongs in fairy tales. There are no fire dragons either.
Espella seems certain that she saw a fire dragon at that time. However, as long as we do not have any evidence to support or disprove this claim, we cannot make any progress.
Do I have any relevant evidence? Anything that could demonstrate that the fire dragon Espella saw as a child was real? Well, that's a good question. What do I have? Evidence. Not really. I don't think so. I think I'd like to go through this thing a little bit cleaner first. I don't think there's anything I could use.
I can understand your choice to be cautious with your judgment, Mr. Wright. However, I must remind you that the only way to discover the whole truth is to bring the light to the true nature of the dragon witnessed by the accused.
I'm aware. Shut your mouth. I'm getting there. I guess he has a point there. Maybe I overlooked some clues in the testimony. Let's arm ourselves to the teeth with evidence and give it another shot. All right, but first we need more info. Time to do some pressing.
Witness continued testimony.
Yes, my lord.
An enormous fire dragon appeared. I was trembling with fear, terrified by what I had just summoned. Really? What was the fire dragon like?
That monstrous image is so vivid. It looked just like the one that attacked Dad this evening. I've done something terrible again!
Then you are sure that the fire dragon you saw more than 10 years ago and the one summoned this evening were exactly the same?
Yes, they were definitely the same.
Just, okay, why are you freaking out about that one?
Hang on.
Is something wrong, Mr. Cantabella?
It's impossible. There's no such thing as magic.
You never believed me, Dad. I don't know why you have to be like this. There was a time when things were different.
Isabella, what are you saying?
Look at them. It's like a common argument between a teenager and a parrot. Mr. Cantabella created this town. He knows better than anyone else that there is no magic here.
Miss Cantabella,
Yes?
would you mind giving us more details on what you saw?
Could I borrow a sheet of parchment and a pencil? I think it'd be better if I draw it. As long as you don't accidentally say some incantations, you're fine.
Your request shall be granted. Bring parchment and a pencil for the witness immediately.
And it turns out they have number 2 pencils. Ooh, that's pretty. This is it. This is the fire dragon that I saw last night. Lady, you have got some really nice drawing skills. I think you could actually go online and do commissions and do, like, you know, I think you could make a living off of this. Y'all got talent. I only caught a glimpse of it, but it was real.
I must say, it does closely resemble the supposed magical creature we witnessed this evening.
It does indeed. This drawing shall be added to the evidence. This is a farce.
What happened over a decade ago? Was the town really destroyed by a fire dragon?
Discovering the truth about the dragon shall be our next objective.
Witness, continue the testimony.
Yes, my lord. I was just a little girl then. It happened during the annual fire. Okay, this is the beginning of the testimony. Now, I want to go into my details and actually take a look at that sketch. Is there anything particularly weird about it? Or anything that I could, like, clearly identify as being specific to something else? That is most certainly a dragon. I mean, it looks like a dragon, that's for sure. I guess this thing would have been entirely made of fire. Does that line up with anything that is inside my evidence, is the question. Probably not. Let's see. Everyone was gathered in town square. Great Witch Bazella. Okay, that's everything in the testimony. All right, then. Nick, Mr. Cantabella wrote this town story, right?
Well, yeah.
So he's the author, and he's saying that Bazella doesn't exist.
That's right.
If that's the case, then there's no point to this whole trial. We know that, but there's not enough to end it. But why? The professor has taken on the role of inquisitor in this trial in order to get Mr. Cantabella to testify. He wants to get to the bottom of this mystery. And learn the whole truth. Besides, I think this will be in Espel's best interest too. I trust the professor's judgment on this, so I'll carry on with this cross-examination. Well, I trust you, Nick. I'm sure you know what you're doing. Nope. Okay, so... Great Witch Bazella awoke within me, and brought calamity upon the town. So now that I have that piece of evidence, I will save. Just so that I'm good to go.
Hold it!
I have a new piece of evidence. I cannot remember. Do you remember something, you asshole? You look upset, Mr. Cantabella. Opinion has not changed. You guys bicker back and forth. Why don't you let me go on after dark, Dad? Do I have any relevant evidence? Anything that could demonstrate the fire dragon Espella saw as a child was real? Your Honor?
What is it, defender?
The defense will present evidence.
Evidence? I suppose you mean evidence that will prove. that my daughter's memories of the dragon amount to nothing more than wild imagination.
On the contrary, I'm pretty positive Espella did see the dragon.
What? I thought you had more sense than you. Well, aren't we curious about what the defense has got to show us? Present evidence that proves a dragon appeared in this town over 10 years ago.
Well, I mean, we got a drawing of a fire dragon from the witness.
Take that!
There we go. It is, of course, Espella's drawing of the dragon. It's impossible to draw a dragon with so much detail unless you've actually seen bullshit. No, I know people that draw things that are completely fake and, like, you know, mythical, and it turns out that those things don't exist and it just came from their minds. This is shoddy proof if I've ever seen it.
Indeed.
Not indeed.
And it looks very much like the fire dragon we saw this evening. It cannot be a mere coincidence. You can't possibly use that drawing as evidence. And why not? Because she could have drawn the dragon from this evening.
Dad, why don't you believe me? I saw that dragon when I was little.
This town is my creation. I know everything about it, and I assure you there's no magic. If there's anyone who can tell you what's possible and what's not, it is me, the creator of Labyrinthia.
Your overconfidence has clouded your judgment and is preventing you from seeing the truth.
What do you mean?
In order to see what is really there, you need to reject biased assumptions and keep an open mind. You are overlooking certain facts precisely because you are the creator of this town.
It's nothing short of insanity.
Magic doesn't exist, and yet Espella says she saw a fire dragon. It seems like a contradiction, but perhaps it is not. Mr. Wright,
Yes?
the solution to this mystery is out there. We just need to find it. Do you suppose you know where it is?
No clue. But just in case I can figure it out.
Magic doesn't exist. Espella saw a fire dragon. Where is the evidence that bridges the gap between the two?
In the court record. In the belfry. It's the town itself. Hello, Spicy. You're back. Alright. So. Magic doesn't exist. Espella saw a fire dragon. You know, if I had to take a guess, I mean, this dragon has appeared twice next to the belfry, specifically. I would like to say that there is something about this bell tower that's doing some weird shit. There's only one way to explain this contradiction. Espella somehow saw the dragon, but it wasn't a magical creature.
Then will you just tell us what it was?
That event took place over 10 years ago. What she saw then should still be in the place where she was at the time.
It's still there?
Yes, Your Honor. And that place is the belfry!
It's in the belfry.
Oh, that moon is getting low. I think we need to wrap this up.
Over 10 years ago, the witness was standing somewhere around here when she saw a fire dragon. Am I correct?
Yes, Mr. Layton.
However, what was it that you actually saw then? Let us see if we can find the answer to that question.
Why not? Just go ahead and try. But I have warned you that it is futile. You will find nothing here.
Well, it happened a long time ago. Whatever she saw might not be there anymore. And if we want to see exactly what she saw at the time, we'll need to set the whole town on fire. Want me to get matches? Maya, calm the fuck down. I may be an attorney, but even I couldn't clear you of the charges if you actually committed such a crime, Maya.
I will pretend I did not hear that. Shall we begin?
Jesus, you could have do this with just like a tiny little fireplace or a fake one. But nope, we're lighting the whole shit and thing on fire.
Let us look for the fire dragon. We can see the whole town from here. Look in every direction for something that would resemble Miss Cantabella's drawing.
I don't know, it's pretty freaking dark. That's suspicious.
Take that!
Espella, what do you think?
I don't know. It doesn't look like the fire dragon I saw.
Ha! I was right, not right. It seems so, unfortunately.
No, we're not done. I was just testing the waters.
Mr. Wright, a gentleman should admit his mistake rather than try to cover it up with an unconvincing excuse.
An excuse? That's what I get for imitating the professor. Shit. Nick, what was that about bias assumptions that the professor said earlier? Fucking shut up! They're what prevent us from seeing the truth. So let's approach this with our minds wide open. And eyes wide open, too. Could have swore it was it had something to do with the this gate thing in the at the bottom. All right, okay. Well, let's. Maybe it's not as easy as that. All right, fine. Okay, that is a mask. It's not that. I swear to God, it was the railing. I'd like to think it was. Well, let me take a look at that railing again. What is this even? I mean, that looks a little bit like a hand. Somewhat. It does look kind of like a dragon, doesn't it? Stuff on the horizon, maybe? No. Oh, hey! Fucking shit. Where'd this come from?
Take that!
Espella, can you have a look at this? It looks like the dragon was hiding in here after all.
Oh, this is...
Hey! That's identical to the one Espella drew.
But, it's not the fire dragon. The fire dragon was a creature made of flames. It was so big it could swallow this whole town. This is just some tiny fretwork.
Yeah, but you were a little girl back then, so, you know, your imagination was huge.
I think we can consider this mystery solved. I suggest we all head back to the court. I will explain everything there. Is that all right with you, Miss Cantabella? Mr. Cantabella, rather.
What's gotten into Mr. Cantabella? He looks paler than you do with a cold. It's okay, we need Cold Killer X. A mountain of it. I have no idea. Let's follow the others back to the courtroom. Moseying back to the court.
The Inquisition's investigation seems to have yielded some unexpected results. But can someone explain them to me? I'm a very daft judge.
Your Honor, the Inquisition will interrupt the results of its investigation.
Wait, interpret? Wait, what was that word? Shit, I missed it. The Inquisition will interpret the results of the investigation. Okay. Thank God for stream lag. I'm able to read it, like, before it goes away.
Witness, you said you were about 6 years old at the time of that incident?
Yes, that's right.
Did you see the moment the dragon appeared above the town?
No, I don't remember. I remember seeing it at some point. It was like a flash. The town was ablaze, and this fiery beast was hovering above it.
Then, when you noticed the dragon, the town was already engulfed by flames.
Yes.
That information completes the picture. Miss Cantabella's statement has offered me an insight into the true story of the fire dragon. Over 10 years ago, Miss Cantabella was in the belfry, unconscious. What events led to this? Perhaps we will discover that in due course. When she awoke, the whole town was on fire. Having inhaled much of the smoke, she was still dazed. She was only vaguely aware of her surroundings when she looked up, alarmed by the scorching heat. Unable to stand, she was on her knees. And then, she saw something she would remember her whole life.
Yay, childhood scars.
She saw a terrifying fire dragon attacking the town. She saw it through the fretwork in the balustrade. Jesus.
Words I don't usually use for 1,000, Alex.
The shape of a dragon against a backdrop of the town being swallowed up by flames became imprinted in her memory. That is the truth about the fire dragon. This is what I have deduced.
It wasn't a monster?
Miss Cantabella, the illustration you have drawn for us bears an uncanny resemblance to the fretwork in the belfry. You saw the dragon when you were confused, possibly mildly asphyxiated from the smoke. There was no magic and no magical beast.
You believe a stranger but not your father? That's so typical of teenagers. You goddamn millennials! You should have listened to me! And now that all the mysteries have been unraveled, can we not end this trial and go home?
As much as we'd all like to, I'm afraid it is still a bit too early for that.
What else do you want from us?
There's just one more problem I'd like to solve tonight.
One more? What on earth could it be?
You two bickering snobs, that's who. Miss Cantabella, we've ascertained that you were in the belfry when you saw the dragon. However, that creates a new question. How did you get there?
Oh, I haven't thought of that.
Yeah, neither have I.
Joe!
As expected of an ace attorney, Mr. Wright seems to have noticed the problem too at last. In order to access the belfry, you need to use the bell tower mechanism.
The mechanism can only be set in motion with the pendants.
Indeed. Miss Cantabella, did you have your pendant with you at the time?
Yes, I think I did. I always had it with me. But why did I have that pendant? I can't remember it at all.
This pendant is not just for show, it's the key to the belfry. Why was she carrying it around?
We must also not forget that one pendant does not suffice to operate the contraption. 2 of them are required.
2 pendants.
Miss Cantabella, are you certain that you were alone in the belfry?
No, I wasn't alone. I was there with a friend.
Yup. What friend? Hey, kitty.
Eve, where did you go off to?
The friend you mentioned, was it this cat?
Yes, she's my best friend. We've always been together. Without Eve, I would have been so lonely.
That kitty's always appearing out of nowhere to keep us smell of company.
Of course she does. After all, Bazella is always accompanied by a black cat.
Shut up!
What you saw from the bell tower when you were little was so terrifying that even an adult would have been scarred for life. Jesus. The town burned in front of your eyes. You thought you saw a fire dragon? You see, your memories have been twisted by the horrors you saw.
What do you mean?
The dragon you saw wasn't real, and I suspect that the friend who was with you in the bell tower might not have been that cat.
No! It was her! It was Eve, my only friend!
Miss Cantabella, the pendant needed to access the belfry is too large for a cat. Are you following? If Eve was with you, it would have been impossible for you to enter the bell.
Are you sure? It's kind of a small pendant.
Wait! Inquisitor, where's all this going? You have no right to tamper with my daughter's memories.
And you don't either, you old asshole.
You are right, of course. However, neither neither do you. Nor should you attempt to cover up the truth.
Yeah.
No, you're wrong! Eve was my only friend!
Think about that day again, Miss Cantabella. You went to the top of the bell tower with a friend who also had a pendant.
Well then, why don't we have the defense present some evidence? Can you prove that someone was with Miss Cantabella in the belfry that day? If so, I'd very much like to see the evidence.
What? Why me? It was the professor's idea. I have nothing on the legendary fire. Why ask me for proof?
Right, I suppose you wouldn't have any proof. Not one of us remembers that day incident. I've had enough of this, Your Honor. You have no grounds to continue this trial.
Oh boy, everybody is just mentally scarred, mentally broken.
Well, we appear to have reached a dead end. There's nothing else for us to do.
Objection.
Superman, Layton.
Please hold on, Your Honor.
Oh, what is this all of a sudden? Inquisitor Layton?
The defense does not have the necessary evidence, but someone else does.
What do you mean?
This time, the Inquisition will present its evidence.
The Inquisition will present evidence? Huh? Wait, seriously?
You son of a witch! This is what you wanted from the very start, isn't it?
Maybe.
Slide. I just imagine like a picture of Professor Layton shrugging with just a Lemmy face.
Well, in that case, the Inquisition shall present evidence that somebody was with Miss Cantabella in the bell tower when she saw the fire dragon.
Ah, and now I have the evidence of Professor Layton. Neato. Okay. Evidence that she was with somebody at the bell tower. Oh dear.
Have a look.
Have a look! This is the proof. This photograph shows Miss Cantabella with a friend.
Golly, this is the finest illustration I have ever seen.
Jesus.
It's a photograph.
It looks as if it were a reflection of the real world on paper. Tell me, who created this exquisite work of art?
Oh, well, Your Honor, I understand you are fascinated, but let us focus on what the picture shows. This picture was found in the Storyteller's Tower. Mr. Cantabella, we have taken the liberty of borrowing it for this trial. We pilfered all your items. Sorry.
It's enough to look away for a second and you already cause trouble.
Professor, aren't photographs against the rules? I mean, this is supposed to be a medieval setting. Meh, who cares? I like you, Phoenix.
What's important now is helping Miss Cantabella to grasp the truth. And in this case, this end justifies the means. Please take a close look at the two girls in this picture. Each of them is wearing a pendant.
Why, that's so. These are the belfry contraption's pendants.
We know that one of these girls is Miss Cantabella. But then, who is the other girl?
Accused, do you have any idea?
Aspella, are you okay? It doesn't look like she's... She doesn't look like she is. It's me. And the other girl is... She's... I don't know.
Espella! Your Honor, stop this trial. Stop it right now. Can't you see you're driving Espella into insanity?
Objection.
I believe you've already done that, sir.
It's just the opposite, Mr. Cantabella. If we turn away from the truth now, Espella will close herself to the world forever. Mr. Right?
Yes?
You know who it is, don't you? You know the identity of the other girl in this picture.
Oh, yes, we do.
Is that so? If the defense knows that. Tell us all, who is this other girl?
Yarp.
Take that!
The cat here finally shows her face. I'm thinking it's High Inquisitor Darklaw.
The High Inquisitor Darklaw! I cannot say I didn't have slight suspicions about her, but oh my!
Miss Cantabella, what do you say? Do you now remember the girl next to you in this picture?
I was with Lady Darklaw.
This is crazy! What are you basing this preposterous claim on? But, Mr. Cantabella, this girl closely resembles the High Inquisitor. Resembles? That's just your personal opinion. It's meaningless in a court of law.
Objection.
If you want evidence, I've got it.
What?
Definitive proof that the girl in the picture is High Inquisitor Darklaw is... Well, let's just go ahead and take a look at this pendant that she had.
Take that!
Yep, it all fits together like a horrible puzzle. And this is the proof it was the High Inquisitor.
The pendant needed for that contraption in the bell tower.
I have Miss Darklaw's testimony here. She said this pendant was hers. And so, the other girl in this picture is definitely Miss Darklaw.
Is it really?
Oh, shut up. Shut your mouth, kitty.
Eve, where are you going?
Oh, what an adorable cat. Yarp. So for a while, I thought that maybe Eve was Darklaw and this was some kind of a transforming act, but now that we know that magic doesn't exist, we now know that it is, not possible.
I was expecting you, Miss Darklaw.
I see that I was not mistaken about you. I trusted in your ability to get this far.
High Inquisitor Darklaw! Where did you just appear from?
Does your memory not serve you well, Your Honor? You know what I am. I can disappear at will anytime I wish to. So, Storyteller, everything has worked out just as you had written. Oh, revered creator of Labyrinthia.
Darklaw?
Lady Darklaw?
So now what happens? Oh, Jesus Christ, more? Oh, what the hell? How much longer is this going to be? I'm wondering just, like, what kind of levels of nonsense we're going to be getting into. Like, what's the... More dark secrets? More skeletons that we're digging out of the closet?
Miss Darklaw, did you enter the Belfry with Miss Cantabella when you were little?
Yes, I did.
Then you have memories of events from before 10 years ago?
I certainly do.
Hello, Vermilion. How's it going?
Order, order, order in the court!
Lady Darklaw, you were with me? Your memories have been suppressed.
By that man. Mm-hmm. Scumbag. I agree. There's a whole lot of really good music in this game. And Darklaw's theme is very foreboding.
But I was with Eve.
Eve, huh?
Eve the Black Cat? Yes, she's always been my dear friend.
Or did the siren song tell you that?
She was by my side on that day, too. What a bizarre coincidence. Darklaw isn't my real name.
You know, I could actually see that, considering it's stupid as hell. What? What is your real name?
It's Eve.
What? What?
You are Eve?
Brain break. Mind melt. So yeah, best friend of all time is actually a horrible Darklaw lady.
My dear friend, Eve.
Now hug.
It can't be. The flashback. Was it real?
Darklaw, why are you doing this? Are you trying to undo everything I have accomplished in the past 10 years?
No, you've already ruined everything yourself.
What is it that you want?
What I want? My aim is to make the truth known, so that everything returns to how it should be.
Miss Darklaw? Will you tell us what you remember about what happened back then, more than 10 years ago?
It would be my pleasure. It was the day of the fire festival. Isabella and I were up in the bell tower. The wind was strong that day. When the sun had set, the festival began. It's true that the whole town burned down that day. The fire consumed buildings and people, turning them into ashes. We were the only survivors. We stayed in the belfry while the world below us was being eaten up by hungry flames.
Were people... Really? That's a lot of dead people if that's the case.
The legendary fire is no fable. It happened here more than 10 years ago.
Objection!
There are no such things as magic and fire dragons, so how could a whole town be destroyed in just one... Phoenix. Fuck. Dry straw will do a hell of a lot of damage.
Yes, that's something I'd like to know as well. Even if we assume the celebratory fire got out of control, surely the whole town wouldn't have perished like that.
Now it all makes sense. Oh, now it all makes sense. That was the missing piece of the puzzle. What do you mean, Professor? I can imagine now what transpired that night. What happened in the belfry, and what caused the legendary fire. We have all the clues we need. Do we? My brain's broken. But just in case... we have all the clues we need? Hold on, hold it. No, totally. But let me save first.
If the Inquisition has evidence to show us, I'd very much like to see it. What caused the legendary fire?
Oh. The suicide note. No. You know, I kind of wonder, did some asshole ring the bell of ruin, and did everybody in the town go to sleep while the fire was going on?
Have a look.
Uh-oh. I think that's exactly what happened. The cause of the fire is in the belfry.
It was the bell?
That bell had been made by the natives and later sealed underground. It was called the Bell of Ruin.
The Bell of Ruin?
By the way, why does this bell have such an ominous name? Could it be because it's made of pure silver?
Pure silver?
Exactly. Mr. Cantabella has told us earlier.
But everyone who lives here has a very peculiar condition. This condition makes people fall unconscious upon the sound of a certain metal being struck.
And that metal is pure silver. Also, is there some possible way... I mean, we've talked about how plants are affected by the sound of, like, metal. That... Alright, my brain's kind of broken in this situation. If a bell rings in this place, and it's made of silver. Does that cause fires? I'm trying to see how that would happen. I would say that would definitely set a place on fire if it were a bell that large.
Yes, and we've been told the condition is brought about by drinking the groundwater.
Indeed. That bell was also the reason why the original inhabitants of this area decided to forsake it. It seems that the Bell of Ruin caused a devastating disaster. To those who have gained entry into this sanctum, heed our words. You must not ring the Bell of Ruin.
And yet people did it anyways, because we're human beings, and we're curious.
I can't help but wonder what disaster this bell has caused.
An enormous bell made of pure silver, and the locals with their peculiar condition. It's not too hard to imagine what happened. It was probably the same calamity as the one that happened over 10 years ago.
And that is?
Well, what disaster happened to this town before Labyrinthia was built?
Oh,
The legendary fire. Yep, we are all standing on a burial ground.
Now, let us contemplate the following scenario. What would happen if the Bell of Ruin was sounded during the Fire Festival?
Oh. Everyone who heard it would fall unconscious.
As it was an annual festival, all the townspeople were assembled in the town square.
oh dear.
Therefore, on the night of the Fire Festival over 10 years ago, all the residents instantly lost consciousness when the bell was struck.
Oh no. Why are you smirking? Wait a minute.
Had it been even just slightly windy that day, the fires lit for the great witch Bazella would have gone out of control, and they would spread throughout the town with no one left to stop them.
Because everyone was unconscious.
Exactly. That also includes the 2 girls who were in the belfry.
Espella and I.
You were the closest to the source of the sound, so it was inevitable. When you recovered consciousness, it was already too late. The town had been swallowed by flames, as in a fire dragon had come to burn it. As if, rather. That was a calamity caused by the bell.
Calamity.
You say here that the cause of calamity is the Great Witch Bazella. That night in this very town, Bazella was more than a mythical persona.
Bazella. She's losing it again.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. You're not a witch. You just decided to do a stupid thing and you rang a bell. Ooh. The dialogue box is being funky.
The Bell of Ruin.
Yarp.
Bazella.
Oh, dear. We're gonna need to lock you in a madhouse.
To be continued, what?
Oh, for God's sakes. Like, why put a chapter mark here of all times? Okay, let's see. Jeez, are we gonna, like, get some more credibility points at some point here? I'd really like some.
Mr. Cantabella, I would like to apologize for putting too much pressure on your daughter.
I told you!
Only your words can bring her back from the brink of madness. Let her hear the truth from her own father.
Please.
All according to your plan, Layton. You've driven Espella into a corner in order to push me to the wall.
I had no other choice.
Espella, please listen to me.
No.
You haven't done anything wrong. You didn't cause that accident. You have suffered so much thinking that you were Bazella. I must take the blame for that.
You did it?
You, Mr. Cantabella? I sacrificed everything to make up for what I've done. But all I managed to do was inflict more pain upon others. Is that not so, Darklaw?
Now that you are willing to talk, Mr. Cantabella,
Hello, Tim. How's it going?
would you mind telling us your story? Yours, as well as the Speller's and Miss Darklaw's?
Very well.
Oh, geez, another testimony. Or not.
This story, too, began when I was a young lad. When Newton and I were still young, youths full of dreams and hope. As you already know, we discovered the underground ruins, and deep within them lay that accursed bell. The Bell of Ruin. At the time, we still lacked the knowledge to decipher any of the writings we found there.
And like a whole bunch of crazy idiots. Crazy human idiots with, human error. They just went ahead and said, hey, it's made of pure silver. Let's steal it. This bell is magnificent. It's bound to make the most beautiful sound. I have an idea. Why don't we make this bell, the symbol of our town?
How do you propose to do that? Let's build a bell tower for it. Then we can ring it on special occasions. It's not a bad idea. Then it's settled. When we grow up, let's do it. Okay, just don't forget about it.
The two of us chose different paths in life. I studied management in London, while Newton devoted himself to the study of the natural sciences.
And then you made a fortune following the invention of a new anesthetic.
We both got married around that time, and each of us had a daughter.
Aw, you mean Espella was born shortly after your company gained funding?
That's right. We eventually returned to our hometown and set about realizing our childhood dream. Having built the bell tower in the middle of the town square, we retrieved the bell itself from the underground ruins. We aspired to make it a symbol of prosperity for this unindustrialized town. The bell was to be officially displayed during the annual fire festival. It would be rung in the morning, following the night of celebration.
Ringing a bell caused the bell of... Ring a bell called the Bell of Ruin. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, hey, I don't know. Oh, why do we need to read all of this? These strange wordings in this other language about it. While we're at it, let's go ahead and open up one of those old Indian burial tombs. Oh, also, let's go to Egypt and just kick open a tomb and just mess around with Tutankhamun.
Pardon the interruption, but at the time, were you aware of the meaning behind the bell's name?
Obviously we were not. We just thought it was a cool name. We thought everybody was, emo. Thinking back to my ignorance at the time, a chill now runs down my spine. Still in the days, Newton and I went to the bell tower the day before the festival. Only one more day to go.
We've waited a long time for this. That we have. This town will no longer be the same after tomorrow.
Oh, no, it was not.
The bell weighed so much that ringing it was not easy. We tackled that problem by constructing a special mechanism, which we installed in the belfry.
Daddy, I want to hear the bell. Can I make it ring? Daddy, please, let me ring it.
Uh-oh. Oh, God. Espella, who was there with us, was utterly enchanted by the bell. She wasn't a bad child, but she was very stubborn and would rarely listen to me when she wanted something. I told her a story to try and convince her to leave the bell alone.
Espella, listen carefully. You mustn't ring this bell.
But why? Why can't I, Daddy?
You know about Bezella the witch.
Uh-huh. She's an evil fire witch who uses magic to hurt people.
If you ring this bell, Bezella will come out and possess you.
Possess me?
Ah,
You mean I'll turn
damn it.
into Bezella?
That's right, Espella. When Bezella possesses someone, She uses them to do terrible things.
Why tell your... I mean, okay. This is like 12 million times worse than talking about Santa Claus.
That's why you must never ring the spell, sweetheart.
I understand, Daddy.
There's a good girl.
The legend of Bezella has been passed around these parts for centuries. It probably originated from beliefs of the tribes that populated this area in the past. What I told Isabella was just a silly story that I invented for the occasion. It was only meant to stop her from ringing the bell. I could not have imagined that it would have such far-reaching consequences.
Have you finally kicked yourself out of that funk?
It's all coming back to me now. I remember that day. On the day of the fire festival, just around the time when the preparations ended and everything was about to begin, I sneaked out of our house. I took Mom's pendant with me.
Your mother's pendant? Do you mean this one?
Yes, it belonged to my mom.
We needed to limit access to the bell, so we made the 2 keys. We decided to make them independent, and each gave one to our respective wives. Both are needed in order to access the belfry.
I saw you and Mr. Belduke use them, so I told Eve to meet me at the bell tower.
So who took the picture with both of them together with the tokens?
Do it just a little. I want to try it while the festival is going on. I hope Eve doesn't forget her mum's pendant.
Childhood innocence. Oh dear. And a massive bucket load of curiosity.
So it is just as I thought, Miss Darklaw. You are Mr. Belduke's daughter.
Well done, Inquisitor. I was almost afraid you would fail to make that connection.
What in the... This is too much for one day!
You're telling me. That's why I split these streams up so much.
Order! Order in the court, Lady Darklaw! You mean to say that you're Sir Belduke's daughter?
Yes. My real name is Eve Belduke. I'm the alchemist's daughter.
And when did you figure this one out? Or have you known it all the time?
This is unbelievable.
I also sneaked out of my house that evening, clutching my mother's pendant in my hand. I did just as you asked me to, did I not, Espella?
Espella, my mum's going to be so angry if she notices I took the pendant. Don't worry so much. I just really want to ring that bell. I want to hear it.
So it's either... Okay, the story is either going to go that both of them are the cause of this horrible fire incident, or it's going to turn out that someone else decided to ring the bell, and they are being punished unjustly. So let's see where this goes.
I rang the bell against my father's warning, and so Bezella possessed me. Because of me, the town, and everyone in it. They're all gone.
No, it's not your fault. Stop blaming yourself.
Supposedly, the former inhabitants of this area also used to fall unconscious upon the sound of that bell. Perhaps they experienced a similar nightmare.
It was I who brought the Bell of Ruin into this town. The one to blame for this calamity is not some witch, it's me.
I brought destruction upon this town. I am Bezella. And then, of course, Darklaw is over there just, like, completely not guilty in any which way whatsoever. It's just like, meh, whatever. I killed the town. It's cool.
Spelly, you're going to drive your dad crazy if you keep repeating that.
Seeing you like this, is giving me a strong feeling of deja vu.
Eve? How can you be so evil? Are you happy now?
I'm afraid we're in the dark as regards Miss Darklaw's sense of deja vu.
Only 4 people survived the fire.
Only 4?
Speller and Eve, who were in the belfry, and the only 2 residents who did not participate in the festival, Newton and I.
And where were you at the time? If you'll permit me asking.
We were investigating those fateful ruins. That's why we didn't notice anything until it was too late. It was getting near the time at which we planned to ring the bell. So we headed towards the town. And then we saw it. The town had been burnt to ashes, the air shimmering from the heat.
That's too awful for words.
We searched for survivors, sick with anxiety. Eventually we found our daughters in the bell tower.
Jesus.
Espella was unresponsible.
Look, we're unresponsive. Unresponsible. Jesus.
Like a doll, Eve was crying at her side. Our relief at having found them, veiled with terror caused by disaster.
By the disaster. Jesus. I'm just flummoxed. This is freaking crazy.
The worst night of my life ended, pierced with the first rays of sunshine. But then, it seemed Espella was already lost to us. We had lost her to Puzella. She wouldn't speak, eat, or even leave her room. She thought she was Puzella, and that she had destroyed the town. I couldn't get that out of her head. What she saw from the bell tower must have been so terrifying. But it wasn't shock from what she had seen. My own words had put her in that state. Had I only not told her that stupid story. We had been grasping at straws trying to find a way to save Espella's mind. But whatever we did, her eyes would remain impassive and empty. In the end, I came upon a certain idea that offered us a glimpse of hope. What was it? This suspense, it's too much for my aging heart.
Oh, God. Again, even in, like, fairy tale land, the judge, he is so into the gossip.
I believe I may know what it was. It was the only way to get through to little Espella.
Inquisition, what are you talking about? What was Mr. Cantabella's idea for saving his daughter from insanity?
Well... the suicide note. I'm gonna say this.
Have a look.
We discovered this in Espella's room.
And that is...
It's a handmade picture book. The illustrations and handwriting are truly exquisite.
That's the first story I wrote. I made it for Espella after that dreadful fire. Oh, the Storyteller's first story! It was but a simple children's story. The plot was very straightforward. The townsfolk joined forces to banish evil witches who served Brazella.
Espella, do you understand now? You aren't Brazella. Brazella is somewhere out there, sending out other witches to do bad things to the people of our town.
So does that mean she's a witch? I don't get what this metaphor is about.
Witches, magic, the town perishing in flames. Espella was mentally broken, and I couldn't get through to her any other way. I talked to her as if magic and witches were real, avoiding any mention of that fire.
Daddy. A witch is real.
Hyped for Smash Ultimate. Oh, I've been hyped for Smash Ultimate for a very long time. It's currently sitting behind me right now, and I can't wait to get back to playing it as soon as I find some time.
Espella spoke to me for the first time in so many days. I was beyond myself with joy. and replied without thinking.
Oh, yes, they are. They're hiding in the town, among the people.
But it's just a fairy tale.
I was desperate. I feared she would close herself off to me again. Now, in hindsight, I see what another fool I was. I made an irreversible mistake yet again.
No, it's not.
Inkling and Richter you like for now. I have not gotten to that point because they locked all the characters behind like a wall that you need to actually progress through, which I actually am not a gigantic fan of. It's kind of a cool concept, but I would really like it if they at least added an option where you could just unlock freaking everybody right away. It's kind of tedious to be playing the game and having to wait to play all like the brand new characters and a bunch of the characters that you remember playing from a long time ago. I don't know.
Everything your daddy writes comes true.
Aw, how adorable.
The bad witches will get their comeuppance. I will write a story about it.
And so I wrote another story for my daughter. A story about mischievous witches getting caught. This time, I had the story acted out, in front of a speller. You had it acted out? Back then, I wasn't the only one tormenting myself over the mental state of my daughter. Newton was going through hell too. His own daughter had been badly scarred by the event. Isn't that right, Eve?
I don't know, she just seems passive and mean.
My father and I repaired a building that had survived the fire and continued to live in this town. Espella wasn't even able to leave her room. We couldn't leave her behind when she needed all the help she could get. Mr. Cantabella showed us this book one day. Then, he made an unusual request of us.
I'd like to make this story real. Would you be willing to help me do so?
To our surprise, he was entirely serious. Seeing that, we gladly offered our help. A story about evil-doing witches getting caught and punished, and Bazella, the source of them all.
Were you paying attention, Espella? Witches got what they deserved, and peace has been restored to the town.
Espella smiled at the end. Then she whispered to herself.
It wasn't me.
When I saw her smile, I felt as if something broke inside me. I couldn't afford to let her be sad again. Maybe if Bazella were to exist in this town, Espella would stop thinking she herself harbored the Great Witch. I continued writing stories about witches. Even I would act them out for Espella. And gradually, the number of characters in my stories increased. That was, of course, largely due to the ongoing reconstruction of the town.
How much reconstruction?
It wasn't anything on a big scale. I simply paid people to move in and act out their roles. But I began to think that I would need more than that. The story had to be real.
To make a lie seem true, you resorted to even more lies.
Yes, I was certain that was the only way. How did I do so? I remembered about Newton's research.
He was working on a certain medicine.
It was a kind of tranquilizer made from local plants that he was testing at the time. But it was difficult to put into practical use. The substance had a danger of causing unconsciousness and hypnosis. I thought it said hypothesis for a second, and then my brain rebooted. I could see how that could be abused to cause much harm, supposing it fell into the wrong hands. At the same time, it was just what I needed for my ambitious project. I contacted the government, and that was the beginning of what came to be known as Project Labyrinthia.
So, to try and fix your own daughter's complete insanity, you went and made everyone else insane. Ace game, asshole.
A town with human test subjects, all in a state of long-term hypnosis.
Ooh. Do I remember when I did Beat Saber and I tried to... What you tried to get me to do the Dragon Maid OP? You found a video of the creator of the level doing the level. Ooh, okay. I'll take a look at that in sometime later. I will say, though, I took a look at the footage of... Yeah, if I could take a second here to, like, take a break from the, the story here. But I took a look at the footage after I had finished playing, and I noticed that... at the bitrate that I was outputting that footage, it looks real crap. I don't know if it looked just as crap to people who were watching the stream, but it looked like just gigantic blobs of, like, color pixels, and it didn't really look like playing Beat Saber. I'm trying to retool the stream setup to see if maybe I can fix that, and maybe I could play something like Beat Saber or something with a higher bitrate more often. I'm not entirely sure how, but I get the suspicion that I'm going to have to put a whole bunch of VR streams on hold until I can, like, work the kinks out of it. So, I'll get back to you guys on that. You devised a plan solely for the sake of your daughter?
Yes. We acquired the land which had been laid to waste by the fire. The new town was slowly becoming populated. Gradually, the rules of Labyrinthia were established. It was to be a town where magic and witches were a reality to the residents. All of this was possible thanks to the drug.
The test subjects were exposed to it through the ink used to pen the story, right?
That's right. It was the dangerous drug developed by Newton. About 10 years have passed since then. Even now, the town continues to change.
Right. We can't let this continue to go on, can we? Because this is just a blinding amount of insanity.
Project Labyrinthia. And all this was done for one girl.
When you were watching the Beat Saber stream, you could definitely see what was going on. Just a bit of quality drops. It was fine, at least, most of the time. You could see pretty good. I downloaded the actual, like, output of the streams, personally on my end. And wow, it didn't look good. I don't know if it looked good when it was streamed live, but the afterwards, like the VOD, it looks real crap. Maybe it's just my own personal preference, but I would like to make it look better before I try and do that again.
Isabella was only able to be herself when she lived within my story. Oh, the irony of it. Only within a world in which Bazella was real could Ispella's tragic memories be sealed. All this while, Eve was assisting me.
I was the first shade.
Not shocked. Well, it's the thought of the stream that counts, I get it.
As soon as the story began, I disappeared from the scene. If Ispella was to see some magic, then someone had to don this robe.
That's the robe of invisibility! I gave Ispella new memories so that she could live in this town with everyone else. I also sealed the memory of her friend Eve.
What?
My existence was too strongly connected to her memory of the fire. Afterwards, I returned as Darklaw, a stranger to Ispella.
But Even if you were doing this for Aspella's sake, that's just going too far.
I made that choice. I do not regret the past 10 years.
It's the stream that counts, not the bit rate. Yeah, just get rid of that. We don't need that. Yes, clearly. 0 bit rate. 0 bits per second. And then quite literally, one particular bit won't be showing up. And that's my bit.
Meanwhile, my father was supporting Labyrinthia from behind the scenes in his own way.
Do you mean his contributions as an alchemist?
My father's knowledge of medicine was indispensable to this town to function. The hallucinogenic ink was my father's work as well.
So it was. Newton and Eve sacrificed more than anyone else for the sake of Aspella and this town. I will be forever indebted to them.
So he's actually dead, isn't he? I'd like to know more about that one.
We wanted to save Aspella just like you.
But then, there's still something I don't understand. Why were you trying to destroy this fake world? In the end, you chose to betray Aspella and Mr. Cantabella. You can't stop freaking humming the Dragon Maid opening. Good. I've had the Smash theme stuck in my head all day, which is funny because I heard the new Smash theme, and I heard it for what it was. I'm just like, oh, cool. They're trying to do, like, the whole dramatic brawl theme music again, just like they did for the Wii U one. You know, it's like, oh, dramatic opening, dramatic music, and very, very memorable thing that gets stuck in your head. And I'm just like, nope, not gonna fall for it. Not gonna listen. Not gonna get addicted. And then, just like 3 days later, da 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 da. Oh, shit.
Oh, but I told you already, have I not?
It was your revenge against Mr. Cantabella for choosing to end the story, correct?
I wonder whether that was the true reason.
Professor?
Would Miss Belduke really betray them merely because she did not want the story to end? I dare say there was another considerably more important reason.
She had another reason?
No need to frown in dismay, Mr. Wright. Please leave this to me.
Well then, let's hear what the Inquisition has to say.
I haven't saved in a while.
What other reason led to the witness to betray Mr. Cantabella?
Well...
Have a look.
That one's obvious, okay.
This letter was Miss Belduke's real motive.
What is this? I think I've seen it before.
That's the letter written by Mr. Belduke for Mr. Cantabella. It's also Mr. Belduke's suicide note.
My dear friends, I hope you can forgive me for leaving this world of my own will. What I have done, I cannot be forgiven. I can never escape from it. Something was tormenting Mr. Belduke.
Hello, Mario. How's it going?
It became too much for him to bear.
Oh, you're smashing right now. Awesome.
And drove him to suicide.
Oh, that's dark. It's like, yes, smash brothers, death.
These past 10 years, I thought Father was glad to be helping Cantabella.
Who's Mr. Belduke? He was a guy that I think actually died in this little story. It seems like most of everybody is actually alive except for him. Oh, and an entire townsfolk, but you know. Tem says, so, marry a lot of time before Christmas if I celebrate it. If I don't, that's cool too. No, it's cool. I celebrate Christmas. Hey, just happy holidays to anybody in general. I know a lot of people get really pissed off when you say happy holidays instead of Merry Christmas. Well, a lot of people do. A lot of bigoted people who are like, no, you celebrate Christmas. Don't filter it out. I'm just like, I'm not. I'm just saying there are other people out in this world too. Like, can I acknowledge the fact that other people exist, please? Okay. You know, like,
But little did I know, he was suffering terrible anguish all that time.
Cantabella twisted the lives of so many people for the sake of his daughter.
So is Darklaw really not the villain? Funny thing, I don't know if anybody is particularly the villain here. I think this is just a really, really sad story. Yeah, it turns out this entire thing was fake, and it was entirely set up to try and keep the sanity of Espella Cantabella, because she thought she was an evil witch, because I think she killed an entire town. There, I think you're caught up.
Was the story not but a glorified lie, stripping so many of what little happiness they had?
All those years, Father was racked by a crushing sense of guilt.
His agony culminated in the incident of 3 months ago.
Mr. Belduke's death.
Right, so how the heck did the tower come back? Or, wait a minute. Maybe somehow they just cloaked it. Like it was hit by hit by lightning, and then suddenly it showed up because it was like no longer cloaked. Of course, how is it that nobody ran into it though? Who's the one messing with the storyteller's story? It turns out the one that it's really freaking complicated. It turns out that the person messing with the storyteller's story is like nobody is like actively messing with the story, I don't think. It's weird to follow. It just turns out that the entire story is fake. Magic isn't real. You know, it's like, and kill your dreams. Oh, was Belduke the guy who died in the case with the green haired girl? Yes. Yep, that guy.
Before Labyrinthia was created, certain things had to be concealed in order to seal Espella's memories. Had she seen them, she would have remembered. They were simply too dangerous to her.
So that's why he became so pale as a sheet, because the tower came back, and Espella would have seen it, and probably freaked out. I understand. Tem says, "Oh no, lightning and fire. I know what can fix this. A Lenny face. A Lenny face. No, that doesn't really help that much."
One of them was me. Espella's friend Eve had to be reborn as a shade and disappear into the forest. The next thing was the bell tower.
I see. Had she seen it, it would have been certain to stir up those traumatic memories. Memories of the legendary fire.
The only way to prevent that was to erase the bell tower from Labyrinthia.
But how could you do that?
Using the same method as with this robe.
The robe of invisibility. Yep, that's it. It was cloaked, and somehow they kept anybody from touching it. Technology is not that advanced, goddammit.
In short, we covered up the tower with a huge robe. Although it wasn't as easy as it sounds.
In other words, the bell tower had been there all this time. Only the townspeople couldn't see it. Is that correct?
Indeed. I don't know what to say. At any rate, the situation changed due to the lightning strike 3 months ago, did it not?
It was a most unfortunate accident. The lightning set the bell tower's cover on fire. That cover was quickly consumed by flames, revealing that abominable bell tower. The beginning of all this, the Bell of Ruin, appeared before us. It was mockery of our efforts.
That tower emerging from the flames must have seemed like a sign of divine anger to Mr. Belduke. A sign that no matter how you attempt to conceal your sins, the truth will eventually float up to the surface.
Having realized this, Father chose death.
He was such a kind-hearted man. I didn't have an inkling of what he had been going through. To him, the participation of Labyrinthia's people within the project was not voluntary. Even though they had themselves signed the contract, I believe he felt those people were being deceived.
Father took his life because of you, Cantabella.
Yarp. Okay, well, that clears that up, and now we know why you did that. How many more mysteries are we going to unravel within the span of, like, 30 minutes? Now you know why I did what I did. I lost my father 3 months ago that day. My revenge began. So Belduke is Darklaw's dad. Yep! And Darklaw's real name is Eve. And Eve is, Espella's childhood friend. Oh god, it's like it is a ridiculous serial. If anything, this would make it a really good story. Storyteller, hey! You got a novel on your hands?
Your revenge.
The first step of my plan was to rewrite the story.
What did you say?
I guess Darklaw was the one that was kind of, messing around with the story.
As president of Labyrinth Incorporated, you had to spend most of your time in London. Over the past few years, you were coming to Labyrinthia only for the parades. So naturally, I knew you would never notice if the story were slightly changed.
That explains it. I couldn't help thinking there was something strange going on. Mr. Cantabella is Espella's father, after all. He wouldn't have made Espella a witch in his story.
Espella was a witch? When did that happen?
How could you have known after all? Let me fill you in on the details. Espella was already tried once within the witch's court.
Impossible! Why? How could you? You knew the risks that would carry.
Look at you. What a fine author of that grand story you are. You left all the work in Labyrinthia to me. Meanwhile, you were making millions for yourself in London. What a pathetic excuse for a father. You didn't even notice that your precious little Espella was in such danger.
Miss Belduke, why did you do that to Espella?
Do you even need to ask? I did it to unlock her memories.
You mean,
when the legendary fire took place, Espella was so traumatized that she closed herself off to the world. We were just little girls then. That tragic accident was too much for us to handle.
apparently it's still too much to handle now, because she seems out of it.
This fictitious town was created as a facade to keep the truth away from Espella. But the weight of all these lies led my father to his suicide. Despite that, the person responsible for all this carried on as if nothing had happened.
I think we just live in a town of assholes. My god, I'm surrounded by assholes.
I couldn't forgive him. As Belduke's bereaved daughter, I had to have my revenge against both Cantabellas. Judge, this is the whole truth. Now you know the true identity of Bezella.
Objection.
Apparently we don't.
You say this is the whole truth. But is that really the case?
Wait, who's Bezella? I think basically what you're saying is that Bezella doesn't... I mean, technically, I guess we're saying that Espella is Bezella in some weird way, except Bezella doesn't exist because Bezella is a magical witch and that is a falsehood, but technically she believes she's Bezella because she did the thing. God, my brain hurts. Professor? What are you going on about now? Also, yeah, who was the one that ended up ringing the bell?
We've been provided with a clear picture of what happened to Espella so long ago. Nevertheless, we haven't yet heard your testimony.
Don't be ridiculous.
This will be the last testimony in this trial. Tell us about the night of the legendary fire. I request that you tell us your story.
Who do you think you are, Inquisitor?
I am merely one of the supporting characters within this tale. However, I am very much interested in the truth.
This has been a very long trial, of which this shall be the last interrogation.
They keep saying that. I don't know at this point. Is it?
The court demands that the single other witness of the legendary fire provide us with her testimony.
Very well. There's only one truth. Nothing can change that.
Hopefully we'll find something that says that she's the one that started the fire.
Espella wanted to ring the bell no matter what, so we went up to the belfry. The festival celebrations had already started. The mechanism for ringing the bell was at a height even we could reach. The next thing I remember is coming to and running to Espella's side. I was shaking her until she finally opened her eyes. The next moment, we saw that nightmarish view. All strength abandoned us, and we didn't know what to do. That was when we were found by my father and Mr. Cantabella.
Mario says, come on, man. You are a main character and you know it. Yep, we wrote ourselves in.
The bell could only be rung with a special mechanism.
That's right. It was made in such a way that even a child could use it.
It was probably constructed by my father. I suppose he wanted to make it possible for anyone to ring that bell. In light of the events that followed, that was clearly a very foolish decision.
So Darklaw, Espella, and their dads were the only survivors. Bingo. A mechanism for ringing the bell. I noticed something like that on a pillar when we went to the belfry earlier. I'd better make a note of it in the court record. Gotcha.
Oh dear, fate can certainly be cruel. I have to agree. If only we had not discovered those ruins and brought that bell to our town. Or if only we could have deciphered those ancient writings a little earlier. Moreover, if only the groundwater in this area didn't cause that strange condition.
Unfortunately, Mr. Cantabella, the tragedy occurred. All that remains for us to do is to seek out the truth. Not for the sake of vengeance, but for the sake of the future. Mr. Wright?
Yes. I just keep feeling like every single time it cuts back to Wright after all this nonsense has happened, he's just sitting there just like, I don't know what's even going on anymore. God damn it. How did I get myself into this mess?
You've been fighting fiercely to uncover the truth. This is the final interrogation. I trust you know what to do.
Leave it to me. To be honest, I have no idea what lies ahead. But whatever it is, there's no question we need to get to the bottom of it. There's gotta be light at the end of this tunnel. Okay. Mario Kimon has some questions in the chat. I'll answer those just as soon as I save. Because again, we only have 2 shields. And it would be best if we take care of them. So, who made Labyrinthia? And where did all the Labyrinthians come from? That was covered a little bit earlier in the stream. Basically, this entire town is created as a science experiment. And the Storyteller is the owner of this gigantic scientific corporation that works with drugs. And the flowers and the surrounding groundwater in the area causes hallucinogenic shit. So, he devised a plan to write all of the story pages using ink made by the flowers in the area. That causes a bunch of people who he says volunteered as people and residents of the town to live in the town. They completely forget all their memories. He says that, you know, they signed a contract. They totally agree to it, but I feel like they probably didn't to this point. But they completely forget their past lives, and they are completely engrossed and hypnotized into the story. And the hypnotism continues to go on as long as they are exposed to the storybook pages and exposed to what comes next on the storybook pages. Essentially, that's how it is. Convoluted as all hell, but I love it. Oh, no, don't want to do that. Anyway, Espella wanted to ring the bell no matter what, so we went up to the belfry.
Hold it!
You needed both pendants to access the belfry, correct?
Espella asked me to bring my mother's pendant, so I did.
That wasn't the only requirement, however. You also needed to solve a puzzle in order to use the contraption.
I have always been a master puzzle solver. For me, it was child's play. Literally.
She solved it when she was a little girl. What's your excuse, Nick? Shut up! Hey, I have different talents. I can yell a lot. That's my defining factor.
Espella and Eve were best friends at the time. Eve is 2 years older than Espella. She used to be like a big sister to her.
So the two of you went to the belfry. What happened next?
The festival celebrations had already started. The mechanism for ringing the bell was at the height even we could reach.
Hold it!
So even a little girl could ring the bell?
Yes, easily.
I intended to make it so that the bell would only be rung on special occasions. That's exactly why I put that puzzle in place, to restrict access.
You also divided the key to the belfry into two components, as an extra precaution.
I was careful, but the same cannot be said of Newton, who constructed the mechanism as a whole. He presumably wished to make it so that even our young daughters could use it, meaning strength was not a requirement. And that became his undoing.
Shut up.
By the way, how old were the girls at the time?
Espella was 6, and Eve was 8.
So technically Eve, that's about 10 years. So in theory, maybe she could be, technically speaking, if she actually was underneath some kind of a spell, she could have potentially still remembered what happened 10 years ago.
That mechanism was the last thing I saw before falling unconscious. And then... the next thing I remember is coming to and running to Espella's side.
Hold it!
Do you mean that you fell unconscious after the bell was struck?
Yes, I believe so.
Our peculiar condition causes an instant reaction. The brain probably doesn't even have the time to register the sound before consciousness is lost.
It was almost as if a slice of time had been stolen from my life. When I opened my eyes, I was lying on the floor. I lifted my head and saw Espella lying nearby. I sprang to my feet and ran to her side.
And what about the situation in the town at the time?
I was preoccupied with Espella, so I didn't notice it to begin with.
At that time, was Espella still unconscious?
Yes, I panicked a little and took her in my arms, hoping she'd wake up. I was shaking her until she finally opened her eyes. The next moment, we saw that nightmarish view.
Hold it!
So it was you who woke Espella up, witness.
Yes, it was me. She was out cold, curled up on the floor, until I shook her awake. As soon as she came to, she turned to look at the town, to that nightmarish view stretching out before us.
When you say nightmarish view,
I can find no other words to describe it. We froze in terror at the sight. It took us a while to notice that smoke was creeping up the bell tower too. Our eyes filled up with tears and we couldn't stop crying, perhaps because of the smoke. The town seemed like a fire dragon's playground. I was trembling with terror unlike anything I've known before.
Dear me. Merely imagining it now raises the hairs on my beard.
All strength abandoned us, and we didn't know what to do. That was when we were found by my father and Mr. Cantabella.
Hold it!
You didn't leave the belfry until their arrival?
Of course not. We were paralyzed with fear. It was an event so traumatizing it still haunts us. Espella fainted again when she saw the fire dragon. I was crying and wailing until our father found us.
Went to the bell tower, as it was a good vantage point. We weren't expecting to find our daughters there.
Of course, neither suspected at that point that the disaster had been caused by the Bell of Ruin.
Eve was in tears, sobbing violently. As for Espella, she was in a daze. Her face frozen in an expression of disbelief. She didn't know what was happening around her.
I cannot say this with certainty, as my memories are a little vague. But I think I was trying to protect her.
Where are you?
Hang on!
Mr. Cantabella.
I remember that very well, as if it happened yesterday.
Cantabella.
Would you mind telling us what you saw?
Eve! Espella! Are you alright? Eve! What on earth happened here?
It was Bazella. Bazella the witch.
Bazella? What are you talking about?
Bazella comes out whenever someone rings the bell, right?
What have you done? You didn't...
Oh, please, Mr. Cantabella, don't be angry at Bazella.
Oh, shit. That's an interesting way to word that.
Eve said it with a most serious look on her face.
Please, Mr. Cantabella, don't be angry at her.
When she said that, I grasped the situation. I realized what had transpired in the belfry. And I thought to myself, I must protect these children. Eve?
Oh.
I'm so sorry, Eve.
Espella!
Espella, sweetie?
Dad, please forgive me. You've done all this for me.
Espella, you're with us again.
All this for me.
Well, well.
Oh boy. This has nothing to do with the game, but in one shot you have proof that Nico is a cat. One track in one shot is called On Little Cat Feet, and sometimes Nico makes confused cat noises. Oh, I see. The person lying on the floor looks like something else. Please, wait. Please fix me. What? That person lying on the floor looks like something else? Yeah, I don't know what the heck you saw, but I definitely saw horror and terror.
Well, well. At last it would appear we are one step away from the truth.
Professor, you seem to already know what the truth is. And I don't! So let me just go ahead and save here.
Do I? That remains to be seen. Continue the interrogation, and we shall all know soon enough.
Very well. The court agrees with Inquisitor Layton. Witness, continue your testimony.
Oh, shush up. Clean your brain with a bar of soap. Okay, Espella wanted to ring the bell no matter what. So we went up to the belfry. Next thing, remember, running to Espella's side. Shaking until finally opened her eyes. Next moment, we saw that nightmare's view. All strength abandoned us, and we didn't know what to do. That's when we were found by them. I wonder if now there's probably something happening. She may not be showing it, but I bet it's painful for her to talk about all this.
I cannot say I don't sympathize with Miss Duke. However, the truth is our utmost priority. It must be exposed, even if it may come as a surprise to the witness herself.
Huh? You think Miss Belduke isn't aware of the truth? I'm not sure, but the professor has it in mind. I'm not sure what the professor has in mind, but let's trust him on this one. I'm sure we can unravel the mystery together. Dark Claw backwards is Walk Red. I remember that. Alrighty, do our thing. Well, I suppose now that we have an Espella actually awake and paying attention, I'm sure there's probably something I could find now. So let me just skip through these and see if anything particularly new shows up. Okay, nothing with that one. Festival celebration had already started. Mechanism for ringing the bell was at a height even we could reach. Was it? A little bit more information on that one. Stuff about the key. And then... Okay, nothing in that one. The next thing I remember is coming to and running to Espella's side. Sprang to feet. What time? Yeah, what thing? Preoccupied with Espella. Espella unconscious. Panicked. Wow, nothing with that one either. Shaking her until she finally opened her eyes. Next moment we saw the nightmarish... I feel like the nightmarish view is going to be something. Out cold. Curled up. As soon as she came to, she turned to look at the town, to that nightmarish view stretching out before us. Hello!
Hang on!
Let's poke and prod the person who only just came back. Excuse me, Espella? Espella, are you okay? Yes. Everything's fine.
My apologies for bringing back such troubling memories. Nevertheless, you must endeavor to face them and overcome the power they hold over you.
Yes, I remember it now.
That's horrifying.
The fire dragon. I summoned it because I'm possessed.
Stop saying that word. Stop saying you are.
No, Espella, it was just an illusion.
No, you're wrong, Dad. It wasn't an illusion. It was a fact. If I hadn't rung the bell, none of this would have happened. Bezella is the bringer of disaster, and that's what I've done to our town.
And she's gone.
The accused ran away! Quick, after her!
Shit.
She's running to the bell tower.
Damn it. Darn it, she's locked herself in. It's no use. We'll have to break down the door to get in. Oh, that girl. She's gone and just herself.
Stay away from me!
Uh-oh. Do not jump.
Espella! Espella, be careful! It's dangerous up there!
Please, Espella, come down!
I'm sorry, everyone. I have no right to be here anymore.
Nick, Espella's gonna do something crazy! I can see that! What the heck can I do? Espella, please, do not make any hasty decisions.
Mr. Layton.
The truth is close now. Be brave for a little while longer.
Truth? As if it weren't clear already. If I hadn't rung that bell, everything would have been fine.
Objection.
You may be mistaken. You still don't know the whole story.
Huh?
Isn't that so, Mr. Wright?
I don't know!
Ah. You're posting emotes inside the thing. I present to you the meme machine. It makes memes, because it's a meme machine. How much is it, you ask? Well, it only costs $1 Lenny dollar. It's okay. You don't need a meme machine when your brain is a constant meme machine on a constant basis. I had the same feeling when I was listening to Eve's testimony. I felt something was not right. Really? I thought that was pretty much it.
The pieces of the puzzle that don't yet fit as are themselves the hints to the solution.
No way! You mean Espella didn't ring the bell?
What nonsense! Of course she did!
As it stands, it's hard to say for sure that she didn't ring the bell. However, we've got evidence that will clear any doubts.
Show us this so-called evidence you claim to have, then. What do you think proves Espella didn't ring the bell?
A device for ringing the bell in the ruin. Even a child can use it. The question... What could it be? What could it be? What could it be? I'm trying to think back to the testimony and trying to think about whether or not there's any particular reason why she couldn't have used the top floor device. Screw it.
Take that!
I figured it fits, so why not? Espella, can you hear me?
Yes.
Where you're standing now is the same spot from where you saw the fire dragon.
Yes, that's right.
This fretwork here is the same as what... Wait, sorry.
This fretwork is here, the same as what I saw that day. When I looked at it now, it seems so small, even adorable.
Defense, what does this have to do with anything? As you will no doubt recall, Mr. Cantabella told us that people who drink the groundwater here suffer from a condition where they fall unconscious the moment they hear the sound of pure silver. After the bell sounded, you recovered consciousness sooner than Espella. You ran to her side and shook her awake. As soon as she opened her eyes, she saw the fire dragon. In other words, if it was Espella who rang the bell, that would mean the device for ringing the bell must be very close to the fretwork of the dragon. Espella, can you please check that for me? See if the contraption is located near the dragon's fretwork.
Okay, give me a minute.
Mr. Wright! Espella, did you find it?
I don't know if it's the right thing, but there's something on the other side of the belfry. A contraption with a handle?
What?
On the other side?
That's right. I figured there was something weird when we went up to the bell tower, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it.
No way.
You see where I'm going with this, don't you, Mr. Belduke? If it was Espella who rang the bell, there's no way she could have seen the fire dragon when she woke up.
No, this can't be right.
An excellent deduction, Mr. Wright.
Thames. Oh, that girl. She's gone and dismissed herself. 11 out of 10 would say that again.
Miss Darklaw, it seems that everything is now clear as day.
What do you mean?
Why, of course.
I mean the answer to the question of who rang the bell.
It was her. It had to be.
What did you say, Mr. Wright?
It looks like we've arrived at the same conclusion. We now know that only one person could have done it.
Wait, what good will saying it out loud do?
Is there a problem, Mr. Cantabella? It wasn't your daughter who rang that bell. Should that not lift some burden off your shoulders? Are you not curious to know the name of the true culprit who has pinned the blame on your daughter all this while?
How about you stop taunting us? Just say the name already. Jesus, you could have sliced your... you could have sliced her father's head off. Who is the true culprit? Let's do it, Professor. Are you ready?
I am always ready, Mr. Wright. It's time to set things straight. The person who rang the bell is...
Eve! No.
Have a look.
It's you, Eve Belduke!
Me? But
There were only the two of you in the belfry at the time. You know that better than anyone.
And as it wasn't Aspella who rang the bell, it had to be you.
That's preposterous. It can't be true.
It wasn't an extremely traumatizing event for both you and Aspella. Your friend's memories were altered from the shock without her even realizing it. She believed she was a witch who rang the bell and summoned a dragon, which incinerated the town. However, Miss Belduke, Aspella wasn't the only one whose memories were warped by the horrors you two witnessed. You were affected as well.
No. It wasn't me. Aspella, she rang the bell. It was her, not me. But why? What are these flashbacks? I've never had these before.
Are we just gonna have another person who's crazy? I feel like we're just passing the insanity on to someone else. Yep, here's all the Doom bastards. Again, I have to make the assumption that every single person that is currently in this picture right now is dead. Oh, no. Too young.
What's the matter? I don't want to do this now. We'll be taken over by Bezella.
Oh, yeah, is that
Bezella
right?
It's just a fairy tale. And you're the one who said you wanted to come and ring the bell. I did, but I changed my mind. Hey? After coming all this way?
During this whole thing, you kind of forgot why ringing the bell was such a big deal. It is. Very big deal.
Hmm?
Dun, 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 dun. The devil's about to take over now. It's real nice that it's a good thing that she didn't end up like toppling over the railing when she passed out. That would have been horrible. I feel like if she was going to see a dragon, she probably should have been farther away from the railing. The mind of a 6-year-old. Quite the dangerous place. Also, keep that in mind. That came from her brain. I feel like there were demons that were sitting in wait, just like hanging out, waiting for the right moment to be like, "Hi, you're insane."
That nightmare was too much for two young girls to take in. Your young minds needed to protect themselves. That's why you subconsciously repressed those memories.
Then, if that's true, for the past 10 years, I've been pinning the blame for what I've done on Aspella. It can't be. It can't be true. It's impossible!
Yep, you're the culprit again. Where are you going now?
It's just disappeared.
She's donned the invisibility robe.
Again, I feel like every single... Jesus. Did you hear that? It was her that once destroyed the town. Our lives have already been messed up with so much. We don't need this now. She's gonna pay for what she did. Capture her. You like the cutscenes? It looks like it could be in an anime. If it wasn't anime, you'd definitely watch the anime. Yeah, and they're very nice cutscenes. A lot of attention to detail in this game. I like it. Oh dear. Don't ring the bell again, you asshole.
No, she's on the roof.
Oh shit.
I beg you, don't blame Eve. It really doesn't matter anymore who rang the accursed bell.
Oh, now you say that?
This town was all created for me. It's my fault you've all been used and suffered so much.
Speller, what do you say? Please, come down right now.
Come down here. I will turn this town around.
You haven't done anything wrong. It was all my fault.
Dad,
Like I said, I think everybody's an asshole.
for me. You've been so kind to me. And what did I do? I selfishly ran away from home.
Speller,
I will finish your story for you. The evil witch will be gone forever, and everyone will live happily ever after. Dad, thank you for everything you
Do not do. Oh god. Please don't jump into the fire pit. I certainly hope this one's a fake fire pit too.
wait! Don't do it, Speller!
Oh shit. Master Hand! Oh. Sorry. Well, there goes that cloak. It's probably gonna make a new mystery. Someone go up and save them! Stop standing around!
But why, Eve? Why would you? I finally remembered everything I've done.
You're not the only one who remembered. You still have the pendant.
Yes, of course. That's because somehow I always knew it was important to me.
Isabella.
You kept your pendant as well, didn't you, Eve?
Let's set the whole town
For
asleep.
some reason, I just couldn't.
Let's
let it
do
go.
horrible things.
Espella! Miss Darklaw!
Quick, they'll fall.
Very intense pocket in hand motion.
We have to save them.
No, you know, hand in pocket motion.
You won't make it there in time.
Oh, how do you know?
The wooden handrail Eve's holding onto is rotted through. We
How do you
need
know?
some sort of magic to save them.
No way.
Who has the ability to fly here? Oh, Layton.
Magic, you say?
Got an idea, Professor?
If a bit of magic is all that's needed to save these two young ladies, then perhaps that is something I can arrange.
What? You can?
Magic is no real. You crazy, Layton. Completely. How do you? How did he know that the wooden was rotted through?
You have to let go, otherwise you'll fall too.
I feel like both of them could. Somebody could have maybe been at the bottom. What the fuck?
Professor?
Professor? Are you mystical? Oh, wait a minute, where's Luke? I just realized, where the fuck's Luke? What's going on here? Anyone? Professor, you're a sorcerer!
No, Miss Fey. We have already established that magic doesn't exist, even in this town.
But then, how'd you just do that?
What you have just seen was the last and greatest illusion within Labyrinthia.
Huh? An illusion?
Magic is but an illusion, and this illusion has been produced through the power of suggestion and Labyrinth's medication. Everyone in Labyrinthia has been under this particular magic spell. Now then, shall we break the spell?
Ooh, cool. A detoxer for everybody. Magic is the last mystery to be solved.
You've seen through all my tricks, Layton.
I wouldn't have done it without the vital hint you gave me when we spoke in your tower. The final spell is concealed at the start.
Okay, so what does that mean?
As you know, all the spells are listed within this book.
Right, the Grand Grimoire.
Now, what did Mr. Cantabella mean by the start?
The front cover.
Precisely, Mr. Wright. The final spell shall dispel the illusion. The correct incantation is hidden on the front cover itself.
Well then, Mr.
Oh, shit.
This is the final puzzle. Soon, a new day will begin for the townspeople. Let us put an end to this illusion.
A magic word? Something to finally break the hypnosis? Oh, shit. One more spell. One more puzzle. Awesome. Puzzle 70. The final spell. 90 Pickerats at stake. Hidden on the cover of the Grand Grimoire are the characters that spell out the true magical incantation. Select the characters on the touchscreen and slide them over their counterparts on the tome's cover to make them vanish. The grand finale approaches. Remove the extra magical characters from the Grand Grimoire's cover to reveal their incantation. Yes. Okay, how is this going to work? Let's see. Oh, I see. Okay, maybe. There we go. There's one. What about you? Okay, this is quite literally just a puzzle. And trying to find the spots where they fit, I think. Where would this go? Does it go anywhere, or maybe not? I feel like there are probably some red herrings, like places where they're not supposed to be. No. You. Can I go back? Here, let me restart this. Let's see. Quite a hell of a buzzkill. Here, that one fits there. What about the other ones? You fit there. You go over here. And finally, well, I don't know if finally is the right word, but that one fits there too. And now we have we're pretty much literally destroying the Grand Grimoire here. Okay, this one goes, I guess all of these probably used in some capacity. What now? Oh, I see one. Doop 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 doop. That one goes there. Okay. There's that lightning bolt one. That one looks particularly easy. So all the ones that remain are going to end up being a part of the actual real incantations of the book. Let's go over here. Oh, holy shit. Yeah, it does. I had a hard time seeing that one. Okay. Oh, I see it. Okay, how many more are left? 2? I think I see where this one goes. That tiny little lightning bolt. And one more. T-shape. You go here. There's only one possible thing left, and it's everything sitting there.
Okay, let's give it a shot.
No objection.
Dum-diddy-dum-dum-dum-dum. Is that going to be my total score for the entire game? 28-15? Is that a good score? I have no clue. Well, there's the dawn, so...
The sun is rising, and when it does, its light will reveal the truth behind Labyrinthia's mysteries.
How is it all done? Mirrors!
Now, Professor?
Yes. Shall we, Mr. Wright?
What the fuck? Alright, explain this one away. I'd call that magic, but whatever. Wowie zowie.
This is the real magic behind Labyrinthia.
Excellent work, my boy.
Huh? Hey!
Layton looked a little bit cross-eyed in there. Yeah, I knew it. Hey, you little jackass. They said you're a sorcerer because they couldn't say, you're a wizard! Because that's from Harry Potter. I mean, I think wizards is an all-encompassing concept. I don't think that is copyrighted anywhere. Alright, we solved the mystery. There are cranes freaking everywhere.
The town's full of machinery?
So much for magic. It was all done with these machines.
That's right. With magic, witches can fly, buildings can disappear. Those are no easy feats to stage. To make all those incredible things real, we needed a great deal of machinery.
Again, how the fuck did you cloak all of it?
Couldn't he have just, I don't know, made the magic a bit simpler?
No, I'm a showman, you asshole.
A witch would say the incantation, and shades would stop time with their silver bells.
Ah, yes, make everyone pass out.
And they'd go wild with these machines, making all sorts of crazy stuff happen. That's so cool. I'd love to try it.
I took a quick crash course before operating the machines. Not bad, hey?
Yes, Luke. What would we do without you?
Now I just want to see Luke driving a car or something.
So when's my turn?
Just like, I drilled myself for half an hour on how to drive this Porsche.
I wish you'd stop looking at me when you say that, Maya.
Well, in any case, I think we should head back to the courthouse.
Right you are, Professor. The judge might have fallen asleep waiting for us.
Right. How's the judge going to feel about all this? Also, is this the exact same judge from the real world? He looks exactly like the same judge.
The sun has risen above Labyrinthia and has shown us our town's true form. Well, I really don't think there's any need for a verdict anymore. The witches on trial weren't witches after all. I am deeply relieved that those I have sentenced are still alive and well.
Right, but don't you feel guilty about just, like, torturing a whole bunch of people? I mean, there was a whole lot of grief involved with all this, so feel bad about that, eh?
At last, I can step down from this seat with a clear conscience.
By the way, you're a judge in the real world, so you're going to be doing the exact same thing. What was that?
And now, the final verdict in the last witches' court session ever to be held.
Not guilty! And the flower petals are back. God, I have missed seeing some not guilty verdicts. And it's good to know that we got a not guilty verdict here. Oh my god. Just kill me with nostalgia, won't you? I'm very grateful for all the help, Professor.
The feeling is mutual, Mr. Wright. A gentleman always fights for the truth. I could not have done otherwise.
I'd like to congratulate the two of you. You both did splendidly in court.
No, it's the judge.
You brought to light the truth about this town. Although I still find it astonishing that we could not see all this.
So am I. Is everybody in this town also blind?
I cannot even begin to imagine how it was achieved. You were all given a very simple instruction when you were hypnotized. You cannot see pure black. That was sufficient. Oh, now I see. These strange contraptions are made from some sort of black metal.
Wait just a second. There are plenty of black objects all over Labyrinthia, aren't there?
Yeah, but this is like Vanna Black. the craziest shit that's like blacker than black. Yeah, that's right. My hair's charcoal black too.
Ah, but it is not pure black.
What?
What we often perceive as the color black is in fact far from being pure black. Our brains interpret reflections of light as colors. Objects which reflect even the smallest amount of light are not pure black.
Pure black is only encountered within nature as darkness.
Darkness, sir?
The machines used in Labyrinthia are coated in a special material developed by Labrellum Incorporated. It absorbs light without reflecting any. It is the only material that can be said to be pure black.
Oh. I bet this invisibility robe is also made of that same material, right?
That's correct. And, of course, the bell tower was concealed using the very same material as well.
Shadily just slapping a robe on top of the tower and calling it a day.
When you think about it, this town abounds in all things invisible.
Ah.
Miss Darklaw, or should I say Miss Belduke?
Yes?
For 10 long years, your memories have been suppressed.
The truth about what occurred in the belfry was invisible to me, you mean?
Mr. Cantabella and your father knew it all along. They knew who actually rang the bell.
What? Did they really? Is that true, Cantabella? Oh god, is it one of these things coming up? Where I have to, like, put down the, like, pick the right thing in my, there.
As we have demonstrated, it was easy to deduce from the situation in the belfry.
But if he knew that all along, why didn't he say something?
'Twas, of course, for your own good.
Don't be angry at her!
You were trying to pin the blame for that disaster on a speller.
Yes, I was, but if you knew that, why did you keep quiet about it? If you had only scolded me back then for lying...
Well, then we would have had 2 broken kids, so you know what? We did our best.
Maybe Espella wouldn't have suffered such trauma.
It was your eyes, Eve.
What?
Your eyes weren't those of a liar. You believed in what you said. You truly thought it was a speller. What you saw was too much for you to bear. Your mind blocked out the real memory of what happened in order to maintain your own sanity. And I called you a liar then.
You would probably have suffered a mental breakdown. Mr. Cantabella and your father created this town. You were mistaken in thinking it was purely for Espella's sake. It was also for you, Miss Belduke. Remember what your father wrote in his suicide note?
I have only 2 concerns. The first is my daughter. It pains me to be leaving her alone in this world, although she probably doesn't think of me as her father.
Oh, and we thought that was the bellboy, or, you know, and whatnot.
I had an argument with my father once. He was always thinking only about the town and paid no attention to me.
So you moved out and broke off contact with him. But you were wrong about your father. Not a single day passed without him thinking about you. He helped to make the story I was weaving a reality for your sake.
Again, don't you feel guilty?
I've been so ignorant. I was so convinced Father was driven to suicide by you.
Your father couldn't bear the sense of guilt he had accumulated over the past 10 years. Even though he killed himself in the end, I believe you were always the most important person to him.
Oh, hey, yeah, how are you doing? You've been living in a fairy tale for your entire goddamn life. How are you going to be able to acclimate to all this shit?
Espella. Espella, what I did to you is unforgivable.
Oh, shut up and just hug.
I rewrote your story, putting you through all this. I can't believe I went to such an extreme because of one wrong assumption.
No, it's okay, Eve. I wasn't angry.
You weren't?
You've always been on my side, protecting me. And even today, you saved my life.
Espella.
I also owe you an apology. After all, I forgot about my dearest friend. I'm so sorry, Eve.
Oh, and other Eve.
Your cat's called Eve.
You know what I've just noticed? You two are very much alike. You and Eve the cat.
Oh, herp, we noticed that from like the first freaking couple of episodes. Meow.
It's all in your head.
Well, that's adorable. And now I just want to go and pet my own cat shit. Not actual cat shit.
And the similarity is really striking.
Oh dear.
Well, this is sweeter than goddamn molasses.
My accidental guests, Professor Layton and Mr. Wright.
Yeah, good thing we showed up, you asshole.
Yes?
I must say, I am indebted to you.
Don't mention it.
You know, when I started planning my revenge 3 months ago...
Want to pet my own cat? Bleep for reasons.
Mr. Layton was a part of my plans. I needed to lure him to Labyrinthia.
Why me?
You were famous in London, and word of your skills reached me even here. What's more, you specialize in mysteries. So I thought that if you came to this town, you'd feel compelled to solve ours.
Oh, well.
Well, you're smart on that part.
That's cool. And what about me?
Well, about you. How should I put it?
You were a complete accident.
Your arrival here was purely accidental.
Yep.
You mean it wasn't planned?
As you know, Espella escaped and got involved in that incident on the freighter. As a consequence, I had no choice but to bring you here.
I see. I shouldn't have asked. My fragile pride has suffered yet another blow.
Nick, you can't escape your fate. You're doomed to always find trouble if it doesn't find you first.
How about some words of sympathy for a change?
Yeah, we're real good at that. Tragedy is kind of my middle name.
I am terribly sorry. The only thing on my mind the last 3 months was revenge.
Whatever your intentions were, the last witch trial has ended in the best possible way for this town. You were correct in your judgment. You always are.
You're too kind to me.
I thank you from the bottom of my heart, Eve, for opening my eyes.
Man, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we have a ton of people here now that need to reacclimate to the real world, including people that have been in this land for like 10 years. Like, seriously, there's some real negative shit that's about to go down after this, like after the curtains close.
Sorry to break up this little happy ending, but
I'm not.
I've sort of got an important question. Why were you going to end the story?
Only Newton knew the real reason. I am suffering from an incurable illness.
Good.
What?
Dad, you're ill. Is it serious?
It is a rare disease with no known cure.
You know, you guys are Mr. Science. You guys must have some kind of way of figuring it out.
Why didn't you tell me? Had I known...
I wanted this to be my secret. I suppose that was a bad decision on my part. I thought I'd finish the story before I died and lay the foundations for a new world.
Okay, so the sisters are going to be drug lords now in his company. Gotcha. That's what they're going to be doing. Again, what about all the peasants?
Honestly, I was desperate. I didn't much care about Labyrinthia anymore.
Dad, why did it have to happen to you? Especially now that we're finally back together.
It is a rare disease with no known cure. Is it old age? Oh! Yeah.
Cheer up, Espella.
Cheer up. Your father's about to die. Excuse me, I'm going to take my afternoon medication.
How can I?
Labrellum's new drug development center contacted me a short while ago.
Oh, did they find a cure now?
They have succeeded in creating a new medicine, thanks to Belduke's research. It's a top-secret wonder drug for my illness.
How convenient. Please don't die, like, right now.
Newton had been working on finding a cure for my illness until the very end. It would seem that the cure was his final gift to me.
Shit.
My father.
Newton was the truest friend I ever had.
And he killed himself because of me. Shit.
I'm going to undergo surgery. Do not fear. I shall return. So stop making that sad face, Espella.
Okay.
Dad, will everything be back to how it once was?
Man, I think everybody just needs to hug. Finish things off.
Of course it will.
And Eve, will you still be my friend?
No. Again.
Of course.
Jeez. Close enough. Stop making that sad face. Yes! Good thing I suffer from mood swings. Oh, again, I want to go pet a cat now. I'm going to drop by Miss Eclair's bakery. I've got so much to tell her. Do you mind if I go, Dad? It won't take long. How is she doing, by the way? Is she a baker in real life? I feel like this is really going to help her out.
No, of course not. Please do.
Looks like Eve wants to come too. What? Oh, you mean the cat. Espella, mind if we tag along? Not at all. You're welcome to come. Awesome! Maybe we'll get some tasty baked breads out of this. I thought we were going... we were going there for a different reason? Well, anyway, I'll be off then, Professor.
Pass on my regards to Miss Eclair, Duke.
Again, how's it going to wrap up? It has to end with Phoenix, right? And Professor Layton, like, saying their goodbyes. So, what's going to happen to the town?
I've released everyone from hypnosis. They will soon recover their memories of their lives before Labyrinthia. As of today, Project Labyrinthia is over. Ah, I see. They are free to leave, if they so wish. I imagine they will make a run for it. This place will turn into uninhabitable ruins, just like it was 10 years ago.
I have some doubts about that.
Hmm? Oh, we're gonna rebuild the town.
I now understand that this town is an artificial creation of yours. Nonetheless, to us Labyrinthians, the past 10 years were real.
Insanity.
No one can yet tell how this town will change. However, it is possible that some people will want to stay. Who knows? Perhaps you will find yourself creating a new town along with them.
A new town, you say?
Is he going to continue to make these crazy fucking stories? Or is he just going to be the mayor?
I am no longer the judge, but if possible,
Ooh.
I would like to remain here.
You have my gratitude, Your Honor.
You need not address me as Your Honor anymore, Sir Storyteller.
Waka 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 kaka waka.
And so, the last witch trial has drawn to a close.
I just want to know, like, where's everybody going to go at this stage? What did Mr. Wright, Mr. Layton, and my father talk? Oh,
And my father talk about?
okay. It's over!
That I do not know. But Dad made a promise to me.
He
Once
promised that
everyone
I'm a
recovers
fairy
their
princess.
memories and he is cured of his illness, he will return to write a new story with everyone's help.
I guess once you drink the Kool-Aid, you just gotta keep drinking it.
The story will be real without any lies or illusions.
That's real cute, but if he's brainwashed before, I feel like he will again. Ooh, hello, Ocean. Oh, yeah, I guess we're back in London. Thank freaking God. Oh, no, no, no. I guess this is just a tourist spot now. As it probably should be, honestly. Oh, and I suppose everybody has now been drinking clean water. Good. And everybody can hear the bell for the first time.
Almost as if it's ringing in a new beginning for the town.
Thank you, Eve.
Okay then. Whenever you are ready, Mr. Barnum.
Mr. Oh God, he's in casual affair. I love it.
Thank you all so much for everything.
Espella, you take care now.
You too, Mr. Cantabella.
So was this an island? I guess that makes sense.
Sure to visit us again.
You can bet on it!
I wish all of you the very best. Mr. Wright, I knew I could count on you to stand your ground and fight me to the very end.
I feel like that owl was a reference to something.
Me too. I always believed in you, Professor. And I know it's why we managed to get to the mysterious truth behind this town.
When we get back to England,
Ah,
we'll come by and
comrades.
see you, Luke.
Great! I'll show you around London.
I'm so happy we'll probably never have a game together again.
Or maybe they will. Who knows? I will say, I would love to see another one of these games made, except with a little less of like a fantasy thing going on. And they made gold statues of both of them. Cool. Now, there we go. And here's the credits. Be sure to visit us again. Yeah, I will, sure, after the 1 millionth day court session. Probably. No. He said at one point that there is, like, during the entire point where he was talking about the illness, he said they found the cure. And a big part of that is because of Sir Belduke, was it, sir? Oh, shit, I've been missing all of these pictures. Look at the drunk bastard. I suppose everybody can stop pretending to be in medieval times and everybody can just, like, live happy lives on the island. That's freaking good. Oh, you guess you didn't listen? That's okay. I do that all the time. Unfortunately. Oops, you can't spell. You spell just about as good as some people that I know. So that's cool. Me no spell good. Ah, well, thank the Lord. Nobody has to be under any kind of spells, and everybody can just have occupations. That's fine. That's cool. I don't think the children should be in the rough and tough bar. But, you know, whatever. I guess technically, nobody was really rough and tough for real. It was all an act at one point. So there we go. Let's see. What? On stage? Okay, the judge is on stage, like... What does he do? Does he have, like, amazing pipes or something? Ah, or some shit. Everybody having tea. Oh, it's saucer and milk. Why are they freaking out? It's like, oh god, there's a cat on the table. Get it out. I cannot read that because it is Japanese. And that's a wrap, I guess. Oh, but now we're back in the study. Great.
You know, Professor, I feel like I've just finished reading a really long story.
I feel like I'm 20 years older.
I know what you mean. It certainly was an enthralling adventure.
I wonder how Espella and the others back in Labyrinthia are getting on. I'd love to go back and see them.
We go back and the whole thing's on fire.
Not have to be sucked into a book to get there.
Perhaps we should ask Carmine to come along with us.
Great!
Ooh.
It's a real relief he recovered from all of his injuries. But he was a bit put out when he found out you'd already solved all the town's secrets, Professor.
What can I say? We work fast.
We mustn't forget that we didn't solve them all by ourselves. We couldn't have done it without the help of our friends across the Atlantic.
Yep, that were stapled to us on the hip.
Battling away in a courtroom somewhere?
I'd wager they may well be, Luke. At any rate, we must make our own preparations.
For what?
There's a brand new case that requires our attention. And that means a brand new set of puzzles to be solved, my boy.
Ooh. Very well. Little do they know that, yeah, the future from this point onwards for Phoenix was not going to be all that great. Oh, shit! Edgeworth!
Has the cat got your tongue? Or are you still in a holiday kind of mood? Perhaps your mind is as clouded as the English sky.
What the fuck?
Any hints, Maya?
Not really. If only the professor were here. I think at this point you've got to use that patented spell of yours, Nick.
Patented spell?
Spell. Contradictions?
Hello, Earth to Nick. Just when we think it's all over, you always use it to turn the tables.
Ah.
Right, thinking outside the box.
I just have to close my
Contradictions.
eyes and say the magic word. Luckily, I don't need a witch's scepter for this one.
Save the chit-chat for later, right? I've almost missed that utterly annoying spell of yours. Fine, let's hear it then.
Do it.
Just take a deep breath and give it all you've got.
Well, here goes.
Do it, you bastard.
Objection!
Yes! Oh, that was a cool thing at the end there. That's something that I wasn't expecting, seeing like Edgeworth just out of freaking nowhere. And also, I have no idea, like, that's probably not his canon voice for the future of the whole place. And it definitely doesn't sound like the one that I do. Oh, that says subscribe to BitB in Japanese. Did you translate that with Google Translate? Because if you did that, it's probably very inconsistent. Or do you know Japanese? Maybe you do. I don't know. Nobody needs to subscribe to anything. It's fine. Hang out if you want to hang out. If you do, the punch bowl's over there. Okay, what's the DLC plan? I don't think I want to do the DLC for this. Maybe I'll put this aside and I'll do the DLC later if I really feel like doing it. But this was a long freaking game. Like, that took a long time. Punch bowl! I just want to take a break because it just feels like that this felt like an eternity. I kind of wanted to, again, like I said, at some point I was talking about the idea of putting this thing aside for a moment and going back to just playing some Phoenix Wright games because I was really, really interested in it. I'm actually really surprised that I stuck through it and I actually got through all of the main story. One game to check off the list. Oh yeah, definitely. But like I said, I don't really know like what the DLC is and how much is it and how substantial it is. Apparently it's just some like side story stuff. But I would absolutely and totally be okay with doing a couple of playthroughs of some DLC. Just not now. Later. We've gone through the main story, and I think that's good enough for now. But one thing for certain is that I have been itching to dive back into Phoenix Wright for the entire time that I have been playing Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Matter of fact, I was itching to play it before I even started playing. I kind of intentionally decided to keep myself from playing the next game simply because I wanted to kind of like edge myself over a little bit. It's just like I want to be really excited when I jump into the new ones. I mean, that's the entire reason why I've kind of wanted to cover all of the backstory portion. But now we're diving into some Phoenix Wright games that I have heard about for years and years, but I have not been able to dive into because I wanted to make sure that I knew all the backstory. And you know what? I didn't need to know this game in order to dive into this next game, but I just wanted to... I've explained this before, but that's basically it. But yeah, I feel like all the preparations have finally been done, and I can finally move on to the 3DS games for Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. And I am excited. So pumped! So, next Saturday, that is absolutely what I am doing. I'm diving into Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. Use Google Translate to do the Japanese. Yeah. Again, you know, like the weird English that happens whenever you translate something from Japanese to English using Google Translate. It's probably weird. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that. Though I will say, I don't really have any art assets done for it. So that's going to be kind of an asshole thing. I think I could probably whip something together before Saturday, that's for sure. It's not going to take too much. I mean, like, I've already got this whole thing set up. But it's basically, I have to come up with a thumbnail. I'm not entirely sure. So, how about Edgeworth's voice? Now, you're going to have to be more specific about that one. Are you talking Edgeworth's voice in this game? Or are you talking about Edgeworth's voice that I do? I've been missing Edgeworth. He's been gone for so long. Though I do feel like I got, like, a way too much overabundance of it when I was playing Ace Attorney Investigations. It's like, good God. His voice here. It's not it's kind of what I expected his voice to be, maybe like a little bit different. It works. I think it works. I don't know, there were just a lot of things in this game, Ace Attorney-wise, that it hits the mark, but it's ever so slightly crooked. It's weird. Like, I'm totally cool with it but I feel like it could have been a little bit more perfect. And that's what I feel like for a whole lot of the stuff with the Ace Attorney bits. I can't say for sure if the same could be said for the Professor Layton things. This is a Layton game, not Ace Attorney. I'm aware of that. But the thing is, I have not played any of the Layton games either. So I can't say for certain if the same could be said for any of the Layton elements either. Because for all I know, it's just both the game styles, except ever so slightly watered down. Just a tiny amount. Just for the sake of having both of them on the screen at the same time. After the stream ends, you will watch anime. Or play video games. Mostly watch anime. Fine by me. I feel like I've played video games and watched an anime. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there is the mask of the, Finn. We have bookended the story. So he wrote the whole... Here's the thing. There's no way he wrote all of those individual pictures, that's for sure. Well, you know, all the individual pages of the story. That must have been insane. What kind of frigging factory did they need in order to, like, print every single one of the pages for the story? Like, God, this was some conspiracy shit. They no longer need Bazella, nor the witches or witchcraft that were essential for his existence. For her existence, rather. So there we go. Mystery is done. Okay, credibility is added. Pickerat's added. So is that my final score? And what does this all mean? What does it mean that I got those Pickerats? Well done, you've just cleared the game. You may now make a special game clear save data file. When you load data from this file, you will be given a choice of 2 starting locations. The first is within the underground ruins. From there, you will be able to access the town and wander around freely, searching for hint coins and unsolved puzzles. The second choice is at the climax of the epilogue. This is the ideal for those who would like to experience the game's finale one more time. Oh, nice. That's a nice little extra little bit. I like that. You'll be able to restart with maximum credibility, so even if you run short this time around, you will still have a chance to pick up those vital Pickerats that you missed. What's the point? What do I get for my Pickerats? That's what I want to know. Like, am I actually gonna get some kind of a reward? Is there a hidden cutscene somewhere? Yeah. You can't watch anime and play video games. It's too hard to find a dub, or maybe you're just too lazy. Yarf. I don't know. Oh, God. Who was it that was just talking to me about Crunchyroll? I think it was my brother. Maybe it was my brother. We were just talking about the fact that there were some stuff Funimation-wise that was pulled off of Crunchyroll, which means a whole bunch of dubs have been taken off of it. Dual Destinies is gonna be great. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. And again, like I said, I started out this entire retrospective of me playing the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney series close to blind. I know very little aside from seeing art assets left and right, and maybe I saw a trailer a couple of places. And Dual Destinies, I know I've seen some trailers for that, and I have been spoiled about, like, a new mechanic that's going to be in it, but that's about it. And then I know that in Spirit of Justice, Maya makes a return. Because Maya, I guess he's just not showing up in the Dual Destinies. I am not sure. Unlike this game, the DLC for Dual Destinies is canon. Cool. Well, I already went and I picked up the DLC for both Dual Destinies and Spirit of Justice. So we're all set and good in the event I want to do those. Anywho. Oh, jeez. Mixer is still having issues. I don't know why. Here, I'm going to refresh and see if it... Yeah, okay. Yeah, Mixer's having issues with cutting out and restream. I think it's a connection with restream. The game's DLC is just... This game's DLC is just goofy fun. That sounds cool. Maybe I'll do that if I'm bored one day. Just like, I want to do some goofy, fun, ridiculous stuff. And plus, it'll be nice to jump back into sort of the Phoenix Wright of old, because the newer Phoenix Wright tends to be a little bit more wiser. You know, more knowledgeable. Yeah, he knows things. He has brain, sort of. Still gets into all kind of trouble, though. Okay, I think I am going to call the stream for tonight. So, thanks everybody who popped into the stream tonight, especially anybody who has been following just the entire playthrough of the game. I've appreciated a lot. If you want to take a look at this episode after it's done, honestly, there wasn't too much going on for it, so I will probably be uploading this entire thing to the YouTube channel. Sans, maybe I'll do like some cuts of the beginning to make it cleaner, just so it's easier to jump in and watch. I stream on Saturdays, Sundays, and Wednesdays, all of them starting at around 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. This is not clearly as Edgeworth is here and Maya. Yeah. Anyway, some other stuff. Like I said, next Saturday I'm going to be diving into Dual Destinies, so that should be fun. Other stuff that I am currently going to be doing... Oh. You guess you'll be right here tomorrow for the stream. I'm still not sure what I'm going to be doing for tomorrow's stream. I'll get back to you on that one. I don't know. I have a couple of ideas, but I will have to... I'll figure that one out. What's some other stuff that I'm planning on doing? At some point, I'm going to be doing a Hat in Time mod special. That'll be happening sometime soon-ish, kind of. I'm going to be doing... Well, okay, I've been playing One Shot. I'm debating on, like, okay, I've been doing that on Wednesday. I'll probably be doing that again on Wednesday. I'm not entirely sure. Things are a little bit messy on my end. I'm trying to schedule some stuff out. But anyways, yeah, I think I'm going to head off and I'm going to prepare myself some food. So that will do it. Again, thanks for coming out. See you next time.